One more time for local singer-songwriter Chrissy Taylor. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rock and roll here. It's round 4 here on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series in 2026 for the second annual battle on the Colorado here, beautiful Marble Falls, Texas. Again, Thomas Yarbrough, Tim Siebold bringing you all the live play-by-play action all season long here on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series. And what a fantastic weekend of racing we have. The points are tight in all 4 classes. The water is fast. The breeze has picked up. The sun is out. Couldn't have asked for a better round 4 here in Marble Falls. Could you, Tim?
No, the weather is absolutely perfect. We got the sun out. We've got a little bit of a wind ripple on the water, which helps the boats run faster. So we're looking for some exciting racing today, and we want to thank all the fans for coming out. And let's go racing.
Absolutely. Year 2 here in Marble Falls. Definitely seeing some growth in the fan base, growth in everything here, sponsors and all the like. What a fantastic weekend we're going to have. And we're going to start things off with one of the fan favorites, Tim, the Tri-Hulls here coming out on the water for their first of 3 qualifying heats with Cole Wearing sitting out front after 3 rounds.
Well, he's had a fantastic season so far. He's been very consistent, but guess what? Number 37, Mason Rinker, was putting all kinds of heat on him at the last race in Shreveport. So I look for them two to battle and don't count out Neil Marsh, number 17. He knows how to win.
Oh, absolutely. And you've got more of that outlaw team. You look at Briston Sherman's always been in the mix here in 2026. Aaron Green seeing improved package. And don't forget the wild card that is the Tanner Rinker, who rattled off 3 wins in a row in 2025, just missing out on a series championship back last season. So dynamic class in Tri-Hulls. We run 2 different motor packages here for those of us joining us for the first time here in round 4 in the Tri-Hull class. We've got that 4-stroke, Tim, which is what I see on a fishing motor back home in Minnesota, that Pro XS Mercury 4-stroke outboard on the back that you can go buy at any Mercury dealer. Drastically different from the original motor package that we started this class with.
That's right. You know, we've done a lot of testing with this class to make sure there's parity within the 2 engine programs. But for a platform to build a future on, the Mercury 115 XS is definitely where it's going. And these guys it's taken a little bit of a learning curve for these guys to get the boat set up, because the motor packages are different. They weigh a different amount. They handle different. There's different engine setbacks. So they're starting to get it dialed in, and these guys are ready to go racing. They got their lineup.
You'll notice there from up above, they're coming down right in front of Tim and I here at the judges stand. This is where they can see their starting order. A little bit different than we'll see later on today in the Formula Lights and the Formula Ones, Tim. We do the rolling start here in the Tri-Hull class, 2x2, more of a typical Le Mans style, in gear, in motion, 2x2 as they roll around this 2-pin course. And boy, does it create some exciting starts to these Tri-Hull races.
It really does. The rolling start is a unique key to the Tri-Hull class, and we have started to adopt it in some of the other classes after the initial Formula One, Formula Lights, Le Mans dead engine start. So these guys are used to it. I'll tell you what it does do is it makes it extremely rough, and you're going to see all the waves bouncing right back in on the Colorado River today because they're coming off this front seawall.
Absolutely. Let's take a look at our starting lineup for heat number 1. On the inside of row 1, pole position goes to the man in that Ray Bob's machine, the 26 of Briston Sherman.
Darren Ware, caddy in the number 2 slot. If he gets out front, he's going to be hard to touch.
Yeah, he is. He's a very hard guy to get around. Outside of row number 2, part of that Rinker Racing contingency running for McLean Trailers, the 37 of Mason Rinker, coming 3rd here in heat 1.
One of our first-time heat winners last weekend, or 2 weeks ago in Shreveport, is Gerald Shelton. He did a great job in the number 13.
Absolutely, starting to make some moves on his rookie season there. On the inside of row number 3 in that 5th position, the man out of Houston, Texas, running for Heavy Hands Racing, number 88 of Josh Wells.
Wyatt Zoller coming through this year. He's got a different boat, different engine package, and he's starting to come to terms with it.
Absolutely is. Then the man who's won 3 titles in the last 4 seasons on the inside of row number 4, starting in 7th, the number 17, the man they call the Dude, Mr. Neil Marsh.
Number 10, Tanner Rinker on his outside. And if it wasn't for bad luck this year, he wouldn't have any luck.
No, he almost lost his motor twice, definitely lost it once. Hopefully he can keep it on all here this weekend. Rounding out row number 5 in the top 10 boats here in the grid lineup for Tri-Hull. He won the 33 of John Ottinger and then the 63 of Aaron Green, and rounds out your top 10. Then Austin Terry, Clint Dillard, Cole Waring, our point sitter, going all the way back, starting last on the inside of the last row, and then the 93 of J.B. Jensen, finally making it out on the water since first race since Bradenton, Florida, back out there, starting in that last spot there, Tim.
Yeah, J.B., he'll have to knock the dust off a little bit, but a couple laps in the tri-hull and the pounding up the front straightaway, it doesn't take long. You know,
and he's actually found some pretty good finishing positions, maybe starting in the back in Heat 1, doesn't necessarily get the best starting position for finish position in Heat 1, but then we do reverse order of finish. He's out in front, and he's another one of those guys very hard to get around if he finds the clean water.
That's right. He knows how to win once he gets out front, but this is going to be extremely rough coming down for this start. So keep an eye, everybody. It's going to be wild.
All right, as Jet Ski Jared, the pace jet ski here on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series, leads him down the front stretch, and he's going to, once he starts peeling off, you're going to look for that green flag from Chief Referee Doug Ray. There he goes. He drops the flag and go, go, go. No, it looks like the 93 of J.B. Jensen is actually on pole here in heat number 2. Apologize that. So he does get that clean water right away, Tim, and boy, this is exactly what the 93 of J.B. Jensen was looking for, because he loves to get out in front. Look at their cat, the 54 of Darren Ware, finding some of that clean water as well, Tim.
Wow, that was an extremely short run to the first turn, and they held them. They must not have been in position, but look at the rough water down the back straightaway.
Boy, and that wind's starting to pick up a little bit. These things are going to churn up the Colorado River like you have never seen before here, folks, in Marble Falls. They come down for the opening lap, 1 of 7 here in qualifying heat number 1. We do see the 93 of J.B. Jensen out in front, then the 54 of Darren Ware, but here comes Tanner Rinker already up into third with 69 of Cole Waring right behind him.
Right behind him, yeah, and then Zoller, and then here comes Neil on the inside making a pass with the number 17.
Boy, we just saw on screen there, Tim, we saw the flash of the 69 or the 17 of Marsh go by. Then we finally just saw the nose of the 37 of Mason Rinker. He's mired back down there in 10th. He's really struggling here in this rough water early in Heat 1.
These guys right now, they're just trying to figure out where to go. You know, you've got different guys up front right now, and these guys are jockeying for position, and they're trying to keep them in the water, if nothing else.
Yeah, and they better watch out, because here comes the man on a mission, the 69 of Cole Waring. He's going to flash right there on the screen at the bottom there as he's hunting down the 10 of Tanner Rinker, sweeping it out of turn number 1, now heading back east down to turn number 2 here on the Colorado River. But boy, J.B. Jensen, boy, he got that rust knocked off real quickly there, Tim.
He sure did.
He is running well, but boy, it is getting rough out there right now.
Well, you know, this is like a big bathtub. The waves are just coming off the seawall right back into the race line. So it's going to be like this all weekend long, and these guys know it, and they're setting up for it. What they're trying to do is keep these things in the water so that way their prop can keep them pushing forward rather than being in the air so bad.
Yeah, absolutely. I've got to imagine that minimum weight is maybe a little less important here in the tri-hull class this weekend with this bathtub type effect. It's more of weight in the nose, keeping that nose down so that flat attitude can get you moving forward. Absolutely.
You know, your prop can't push it forward if it's out of the water.
Hey, then, so what you're saying is a setup like this is a big guy's dream. So Mullet is in heaven right now out there as he's run all the way from last up into 4th position, trying to hunt down the 10 of Tanner Rinker. But Rinker's got to find a way to get around the 54 of Darren Ware and the stubborn kid from Colorado, the 93 of J.B. Jensen, who's out in front.
Well, you got opposite driving styles. You got J.B. Jensen in the 93 up front. He's keeping it trimmed down on the water. Then you got Caddy in the number 54 and Tanner behind them, and they're everywhere but in the water.
Just sending it.
Yeah, they're on the gas, on the trim, and they're just letting it go crazy.
As they go down into the turn number 2, they're down on the east end of the course. Jensen liking to go wide line there, lengthening the course a little bit, but boy, look at the 10 of Tanner Rinker coming down tight to the inside. He goes deck to deck with the 54 of Ware, and now Ware looks to make a move up the outside. Boys, they try to split the 93 of Jensen.
He is, but JB is holding at that inside lane, and that's causing Caddy to go on the outside, longer way around the course.
Yeah, and in the tri-hulls, you have such short chutes. The top end has never really been right, the goal for these guys. They have to have some top end, but it's all about getting in and out of the corners. And boy, that longer line just doesn't allow Caddy to get the RPMs up to get by him on the straightaway.
They're side by side right now, coming out of 3 and 4.
Oh, and here we go. Caddy has made the move, ladies and gentlemen.
He's on the inside. Oh no, he's doing it on the outside.
White flag out.
Uh-oh, this is coming down to the wire, and Cole Weary in number 69 got past Tanner Rinker.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, on the final lap of qualifying heat number 1, we've got a new leader here, the 54, Darren Ware, the man they call Caddy, is trying to fly it high wide to the outside and hang out the 93 Jensen. I think it's going to come down to this last corner, Tim, here, as we see him slugging it out down the east end of the course.
It will. He's got to settle the boat down, keep it in lane 1, make these guys go around him. He swings it out wide.
Oh, boy.
And it's working for him. Jensen parked it in the corner down there.
Boy, and it looks like the 10 of Tanner Rinker got by the 69 of Cole Waring. But ladies and gentlemen, on the final lap of the opening heat, your winner in qualifying heat number 1, the man they call Caddy, Mr. number 54, Mr. Darren Ware.
Tanner Rinker comes back in and makes a last lap pass on Cole Weary on the number 69.
And he hangs on to third with JB Jensen sandwiched there in the middle. Not too shabby of a start after knocking the rust off, missing rounds 2 and 3. Jensen gets pole, comes out and hangs on to second. But man, that's might be the fastest I've ever seen Darren Ware in that machine all season long. He had troubles in Port Neches, Bradenton, and Shreveport. You know, it was an up and down weekend for him. You got to imagine this is the exact way the 54 Darren Ware was looking to start his weekend.
And I'll tell you, he was up on the wheel, so it was good.
All right, well, that's going to wrap it up for qualifying heat number 1 here in the Texas Trial. We look at a recap. Boy, the 93 at JB Jensen, Tim, he started on the inside of row 1. He did. All right, let's take a look at the results. So Darren Ware there, Jensen just 2 seconds behind him. And then that battle right there between the Tanner Rinker and Waring, that had to have been fun from inside the cockpit.
No, and those guys are battling for, you know, the championship. So those are valuable points. One position, after a whole season, it could come down to that.
Yeah, and I think, you know, you look there, the 17 of Neil Marsh in 5th. And then I think that 6th place driver is probably going to go back to the pits and say, hey, thanks, bro. I really appreciate you passing Waring on that last lap there. Keeping that gap closer between Waring and the 37 of Mason Rinker as well. As we know, Tanner's been having a tough time keeping the motor on the back of the boat, having some no luck. What was it? If he didn't have bad luck, he wouldn't have any luck at all.
That's right.
So a little brotherly love between the brothers Rinker, helping each other out with a last pass there by the 10 of Tanner Rinker, getting back on the podium here in Heat 1.
You know, ever since 2 races ago, Briston just has not got that thing back on track yet. Number 26. He's normally a front runner, and he just is a little bit off.
Yeah, it is. You know, sometimes you fight that the rest of the season. I mean, you know that probably all too well. We look at that replay there, and boy, it started to get rough even before we dropped the green flag, Tim. These tri-hulls are bouncing all over the shores of the Colorado. We got the retaining wall here on the north side of the river. And boy, it was we were in for a doozy from the jump.
Well, it was the shortest run from the green flag to the first turn that we have had this year.
And it's probably why we didn't end up with 5 boats stacked on top of one another. That might have helped a little bit. But there, JB just got out early, managed those rollers that they created on the backstretch when they started their 2x2 pickup on the start. And then it was just Darren Ware having to go to work, looking for that wide line that he finally got to. But boy, work paid off, didn't it?
Well, he started the race and he was trying to go on the inside of JB. So number 54 finally figured out that the outside line was better for him. Right here, he switches to the outside line, and that's where you start seeing him make a little ground up.
Yeah, that cornering speed was a little bit higher. I mean, it was getting so rough down there in the corners. You know, the risk of parking it like the 93 at JB Jensen did on the final lap almost cost him a podium spot altogether. Was something that Darren, you know, he's got some experience. He learned. Let's just keep it wide, fly it high, wide, and loose, and roll it. And what a fantastic final lap pass that was by the 54.
That was awesome. You know, he's up on the wheel today, so it's going to be exciting to see what he can do throughout the weekend and where he's going to be in the final.
Yeah, he was out here early this morning and testing. And boy, that thing was screaming. You know, that distinctive sound of that 99 cubic inch OMC outboard got that nice high whine to it. And you could tell the 54 at Darren Ware had a little something in the tank, and it showed there in qualifying heat number 1. Fantastic run for a guy who, again, himself just not too long ago, if you remember, he blew over in Port Neches, Texas back last year. So it's been a rebuild for Darren Ware, and he's finally back with a checkered flag in hand here in heat number 1.
Well, I think he's finally getting his confidence back, you know. And it's when you go over like that, it's a learning experience on, look, what happened? Why did it happen? Did I do something wrong? Or was it equipment failure? And then you rebuild from there, but you still got to have the confidence at the end of the day.
Right. And then you can have all that confidence built up, and then you got to make sure all your motors are running and everything else is running as well, because a lot of times you only have so much focus you can put, right? Do I put it on the motor? Do I put it on the boat? Do I put it on myself in that 6-inch space between my ears? But coming up next, we've got the Formula Ones on the water for their first heat today. And boy, fast lap qualifiers earlier today, Tim, they were all over each other.
They are. The competition is extremely tight, and you're going to see that in all the heat races, which will really come into play on the second and third heat races where the fastest guys have to go to the back.
Yeah, let's talk about that, right? So we've got fast lap qualifiers. Those happened pre-opening ceremonies this morning in both Formula Lights and Formula One. And then we run 3 qualifying heats, 2 today, 1 tomorrow morning. First heat is how you fast lap qualified. And if you look at that there, Tim, boy, I mean, we're talking a little over a second between first and first and ninth, with some surprises in there, mainly the 9 of Johnny Fleming.
Well, look, go back last year, number 17 and number 52. So Dylan Anderson won the race. Chris Rinker, I believe, was second here last year.
Correct.
So they are very familiar with these waters and the course layout. Johnny Fleming jumps into a different boat package, different engine package, and they have taken a little bit to get used to it. But guess what? They made some changes. They redistributed the weight from the last race, and guess what? It looks like it's working.
Yeah, clearly, because I know the driving style's got to change a little bit, so you got to give yourself some time. Weight, so many different things are so important. Prop selection to come in here, but boy, a stacked field with, it looks like the 52 of Chris Rinker, who came out and just set an absolute blistering lap at a 31.166. Really, you know, right near the end where Dylan Anderson, for opening lap in Group A, established himself with that 31.609. So surprising to see that we only had 2 drivers sub 32 seconds, but the rest of them are right on top of him. They're just behind him.
It's extremely close, you know, and the engine packages are very close. So we have got the Apex, Mercury Apex, 4-stroke competing, the 250, and then we've got the Mercury 2.5 carb. So they're running back to back, but look how close it is. You've got a 2-stroke, 4-stroke, 4-stroke, 2-stroke, 2-stroke. So
right.
I don't know how you can make it any better as far as the parity goes right now.
And that was with the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo and the 14 of Andrew Tate struggling a little bit in fast lap qualifiers. Same with the 29 of Jared Jensen. That has been a top 3 boat through all of the first 3 rounds in fast lap qualifiers. Can muster only a 6th position here on the start dock for qualifying heat number 1. I think, though, yesterday with those carbureted motors, it was so humid here testing yesterday, I have a feeling that they had to throw those plans out the window this morning when we got here.
Oh, for sure, because I talked to number 13, Grant Schubert, and yesterday he thought his motor was broke. That's how bad it was running with the humidity. And the weather, the humidity, the moisture in the air plays a big part on these 2-strokes. So yesterday he didn't have it dialed in, so they said today they're going to take the timing up and they're going to lean it down. They're going for it. And it shows.
Absolutely.
He ends up fourth on the starting grid for the first heat. So great qualifying effort. And I think some of these guys that you're seeing now also, longer straightaways, right? You really got a 1-pin turn down in 1 and 2 because the buoys are so close together.
Right.
3 and 4, they're spread apart enough where you don't want to make that 2 turns.
Right.
You want to make that 1 turn. So the optimal way to go through this is run past the turn 3 a little bit, make it 1 turn, and then come out 4 and let it come out a little bit, skate out a little bit so that way it sets you up for the dog leg.
Yeah, you know, and this is also a river. We do a lot of river racing on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series. You got to take the current into account. And let's take a look at our schedule so far and through the remainder of 2026. We start to kick things off in Bradenton, Florida, third week in February. What a beautiful race course that was. A one-day race, a little bit unique for us, but we got it done. And that saw the 14 of Andrew Tate win the opening round there in February. Then we went to round 2 in May. That was in Port Neches, Texas for the 25th running of the Port Neches River Fest that saw the 24 of Spencer Love finally get back into his winning ways, Tim. And then we just came from the Red River Rumble Memorial Day weekend in downtown Shreveport, Bossier, before that brought us here to Marble Falls.
Well, we've got some late last-minute updates on the schedule. So after Windsor, we're going to be going to Sheboygan, Wisconsin, and running with the PWCs and the IHRA Offshore.
Right on.
So that's going to be fun. And then we're still working on a event down in Miami for the World Championships at the end of the year.
Which will be fantastic. That will be a true IHRA powerboating festival of speed down there in Miami. So look forward to that. So a few more rounds for the Formula 1 class. A couple of those races, one possibly more may be limited classes. But for the Formula 1 class, we've got numerous races. Next, we're going to be on the mighty Mississippi River, July 17th through the 19th in Alton, Illinois, for round number 5, and that's going to be a completely different race than we're seeing here, both on rivers. But boy, the mighty Mississippi is a whole other animal when it comes to a river.
You know, the Colorado River here, it's controlled, so you don't have a whole lot of current and very stable water. You go to the Mississippi, and it is anything but stable. It's a huge challenge for the drivers. They got to set the boat up different. We have a little bit different course layout there. So one of the things you'll find about the F1 series in the IHRA is the fact that we do timed races. And the reason we do that is so that way we can have a variety of race courses, because the gas tanks are only so big in these boats.
Right. So if you want to have a big course, on a big body of water, you can't run nearly as many laps. And I love it because we get so many different, some races are 45 laps, some are 38. It's because it's all dependent on how fast they can get around. And that can even be from the weather conditions out there. Let's take a look at our point standings through 3 rounds. Good to see our 2022 champion back up where he's maybe a little bit more comfortable and used to in the past. But Spencer Love coming in with 776 points.
You know, it's tightening up from there on back. So you got Jared Jensen, which is, you know, he's in new territory.
Yes,
this was really his breakout race last year.
Yes, it was. It was like his first time on the podium on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series was here in Marble Falls last August. But boy, then going nowhere, right? Here comes Dylan Anderson, Chris Rinker, Jeremiah Mayo, some familiar names we've seen at the top of the standings on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series, minus 1 driver.
Well, Grant Schubert got on the podium last weekend, or down in Shreveport. I keep saying last weekend, sorry about that. But, you know, he's got some confidence coming forward, and no Dustin Terry this weekend.
Yeah, and that's the big blow. Had a chance to chat with the 2-time defending series champ. As it can happen when you're at the top of the heap for as long as he has been, things don't align like they had in the past. He got together with the 98 of Aiden Benton in Shreveport. It damaged a valve cover and torched that 4-stroke engine, and they just couldn't get the package back together. So he said, the 3rd time in 21 years running a race underneath John Schubert, who runs the operations here. This is only the 3rd time he's ever missed a race. Hates not being in the water. He's here, I believe, but not in the boat, which is weird. And there's probably a lot of guys that are just okay with that.
Yeah, well, his competitors don't mind that. You know, he's here helping his son Austin in the tri-hull class. So they're a racing family. It's good to see him. Glad they made it. And we're sorry that he's not making this Formula 1 race, though.
Yeah, he was, I think he recognized that Outlaw F1 team is a big team. And with big teams like that come a lot of organizational difficulties at times. Obstacles. Yeah. And so I think what he said was, hey, it's real simple, guys. Let's focus on your stuff. I haven't had the best year so far as it is. And, allowing the 13 to Schubert, the 8 of Mayo, and those guys to focus on their stuff. But here we go. Red lineup, Heat 1. Chris Rinker, 50, 31, 166. Boy, he might have even surprised himself knocking off Anderson there, but he's your pole sitter here in Heat 1, Tim.
Great run by Chris. Dylan, Dylan was at the top of the timesheets yesterday during testing, and he's got a very good package, so he's going to be there no matter what.
And I'm really surprised that we saw that 17 of Anderson go out in his 4-stroke package, yet Rinker, even with the humidity from yesterday, decided to stick with his tried and true 2-stroke, and it paid off for him.
If you got an engine tuner like James Chambers on the Rinker team, why wouldn't you?
That's fair.
That guy knows more about tuning a 2-stroke than anybody else here.
So we take a look at there. 9 of Johnny Fleming, his best start of the season. Boy, I think
I love it.
Fantastic, right? Let's see if he can keep out of harm's way here off the start here, because that third position can be a tricky spot off the start pontoon. And then the 13, Mr. Grant Schubert coming fourth. One of his better starts here in qualifying so far this season.
Number 24 is Spencer Love, and 29 is Jared Jensen. The guys that have been fighting back and forth all year, starting deck to deck.
5th and 6th right there. We'll see what happens. And especially considering Jensen probably had the best start we've seen all season in one of our qualifying heats at the Red River Rumble. But the guy who always seems to have a really good start is that guy out in front in points, the guy starting to Jared Jensen's left, the 24, Spencer Love. Kyle Maskell didn't really get to show what he had in Port Neches, struggled with motor problems. Hopefully he's gets that righted, because I believe that young driver can be scary fast and could turn a lot of heads here this weekend.
He can. He said he made a mistake coming through the dogleg on his qualifying run, and he tapped it down one too many times, and the boat set a little bit and cost him. He figures he should have been fourth.
And you bring up a great point. I mentioned earlier to the crowd here, for those of you joining us wherever you are across the world, thank you so much for joining us on the IHRA TV here on YouTube. Don't forget, check out all our IHRA platforms on all the social medias, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, and the like. But we were talking earlier about there's really seeing two different approaches coming out of 4. Nobody's really going tight off the pit in 4, probably because of the setup down there, but you're seeing like a lane 2 and then like a lane 5. Those guys that are going lane 5, it seems like they're almost trying to take the chicane or the bend in the front stretch completely out of the equation, so they don't have to run in to exactly what you said the 22 of Maskell struggled with in the fast lap qualifiers.
That's definitely a faster line around the course. Is don't worry about where you're exiting turn 4, because what you want to do is you want to set yourself up for getting through the right-hander, and it's not even so important where you're going into turn 1, because there's so much room on the back straightaway. You can come off the pin, or you can let it go out a little bit. So don't worry as much about where you're going into turn 1 and 2. Just make sure you get through the dog lane clean. So you want to float it around there. You don't want to touch and go by setting it.
Right. Yeah. Now here on the hot laps, we saw the 13 of Grant Schubert about 2 lanes, 3 lanes out from that chicane, and there was no setting of the motor, there was no trimming at all. And then right behind him comes the 14 of Andrew Tate in that 4-stroke, and you could see him just tap it down, set the boat, and turn the nose slightly inward.
Yeah, and you want to float it around that dogleg buoy.
It'll be interesting to see, because coming out of turn 4 down on the east end of the course, it seems to me that there's a big opportunity to get baited into the inside there. And essentially, you've shut the door on yourself by going to the inside coming out of turn number 4 because of that chicane, because the driver can just let you go inside and then just drive all the way and cross right over your way because they bend through the front straightaway.
Well, it's one thing when you're running out there when you're by yourself and you can pick the perfect line. It's a totally different when you got 12, 13, 14 of these guys out there, and you got to go where the opening is.
Right.
So that's why you'll see, a race setup where there's more acceleration with their package that they're going to run, the prop, the engine height, how they're setting the boat up. Because when you're doing a qualifying lap, you can run the motor higher, you can use that big prop for top speed, and you can come out of the corners where you want, not where you're forced to.
Absolutely. And you don't have, when you're out there, you're still going to get some of that bathtubing effect, like, think back to Bay City, Michigan, a place we raced for a very long time. They have it on both sides. You maybe get a little bit of relief from the south side of the Colorado River here, but not much. And so that's going to make an already tricky front stretch that's got a chicane that much more interesting as they come out of turn number 4, because you're going to see a lot of that reverberating waves coming off the wall, making it, I would imagine, making the water even that much more difficult to read.
Definitely, because it's the bathtub effect, you know?
That clashing waves.
You got waves coming from every direction. So it's not a rhythm. There's no rhythm to it. So typically when you're running in that type of situation, you don't use quite as much trim. So that way you're just letting the boat kind of bounce over it rather than trying to fly over it where there's a wind rhythm, rough water.
Gotcha. I figure if you try to put too much of the trim in those situations, that's when you might end up upside down.
Well, what you'll end up doing is when it gets that rough, you'll lose bite, and then the boat, the front, you'll trip. So the back end trips because you lose bite with your propeller, and that's what's keeping you stable in the water. And when you do, then the nose drops.
We've seen that many a year in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania is a place where I remember that a lot of that happens. Anywhere, really, a lot of times anywhere we go under a bridge, when the middle of the race course goes under a bridge, you get some of that lifting that'll pick the back end up and want to make the nose kind of dive down into the water. But all right, we got most of them lined up here. I see okay, we're moving down. We've got the top 4 on the dock. Now here comes Jensen. Boy, he knows he's going to have a good start, and he's going to have to do a little bit better. If you remember, in Shreveport, Louisiana, jumped the start on the final, had to go to the back of the dock for the main event. Boy, that made it a lot tougher on that young driver out of Colorado. But you know what? Hopefully he's learned from his mistakes.
Well, and those guys hurt a motor yesterday in testing. So they have actually their backup motor on there.
Ooh, and that's never fun.
We're gonna see, but you know, they got Ron Anderson who does their engine work. So if anybody makes consistent power, it's Ron Anderson.
Yeah, it's funny. I was actually talking to the Island Lake Marine racing team yesterday, and he was mentioning to me of all the data that he collects. One of them is relative altitude, right? Meaning how easily does that air flow into how much air is the motor getting? And obviously at elevation, you don't get near as much air into the motor because the air is so much thinner. He said it was so humid down here that it was like well over 3,000 feet the motor thought it was at, because it just was choking.
Huge correction factor.
And it's so surprising considering we're not that far above sea level. We're up in the hill country here in Texas, just west of Austin, but it's not like we're at the Rockies like we will be in Windsor, Colorado, but the motors were acting like they are when we're up at that kind of elevation. It was quite interesting to hear them talk through all that data yesterday and how much that heavy humidity yesterday from the rain affected it. But boy, it's gone today. The breeze is out. You couldn't ask for a more perfect June Saturday here in hill country of Texas.
That's right, and it all has to do with the quality of the air. So when it's raining, it's humid, you make less horsepower. So even though Marble Falls is only 800 feet in altitude, it feels like you're at 3,000. So the motors don't run nearly as good. They don't make the horsepower.
Right, and then they go back to the pits after they get done testing last night. They set everything up for that humid weather. They're trying to keep an eye, and then they wake up this morning and they're like, well, we might as well just throw that out the window because that's not going to work anymore. And obviously with those 2-stroke carbureted motors, right, the different components of those carburetors to allow the different airflow and fuel flow mixture, so important to really deliver the optimal horsepower. And those really, I would imagine, had to be completely changed this morning from what they were running yesterday.
Oh, for sure, because you have low-speed and high-speed jets on the 2.5 carbureted Mercury, where the advantage of the Apex 250 is the computer adjusted.
Yeah.
It's an EFI and it adjusts on the fly. And you can adjust it in so many more points than you can by just with the EFI versus just changing a carburetor jet. Because that changes it all the way through the range.
Right. That doesn't mean that you can't find that extra little something with that car if you know exactly how to jet it for the conditions you showed up this morning. Easy way to see that is the 52 at Chris Rinker. They jetted that motor perfectly, and that thing came off like that thing was a rocket ship this morning. The question is can he repeat that rocket ship performance here in heat number 1?
Chris needs to get off the dock good. You know, he's struggled a little bit this year getting off the dock. So if he's going to put a start together, I'd say he's got to start his weekend off right. He's done everything perfect so far. He's on pole for the first heat. Now what he needs to do is get that start.
Right.
Concentrate on the start, get out front, and then control the race.
Absolutely. All right, we've got our final boat getting on the dock there. That's the 99 at Travis Yates. So it looks like we've got them all lined up and ready for the start of qualifying heat number 1. This is going to be 8 minutes plus 2 laps here on the 7/8 mile 4-pin course here on the shores of the Colorado River. This is heat 1. Later on today in Formula 1, you'll see heat 2, reverse order of how they finished here in heat number 1. Forcing that winner here that we're going to find out in just a handful of minutes who that is in heat 1 is going to have to start last in heat 2 and drive through the field. It's dynamic. It is exciting. It is the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series, and we are very close to coming up on the 1-minute gun.
Start flag.
All right, test flag out on the water. So our drivers, that's that orange flag for those fans here in Marble Falls. Big orange flag out on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series. Rescue team.
We want to make sure all the drivers in all their positions can see that flag perfectly. So sometimes we'll have to move the rescue boat around a little bit so everybody can see it, because we don't want a disadvantage for anyone.
Absolutely. And that's what they're doing now. Looks like they've got that test flag's good to go. Coming up on the 1-minute gun. 1 minute drivers, 1 minute on pole, the 52 of Chris Rinker. Can he pull off a fantastic start, get out in the clean water and run wire to wire here in heat number 1? 50 seconds, drivers, 50 seconds. Or will it be the 17 of Dylan Anderson? We thought he was going to be the pole sitter until Rinker snubbed him, but that 4-stroke is screaming fast. Can he do it here again in Marble Falls in 26? 40 seconds, drivers, 40 seconds. And then it's the 9 of Johnny Fleming, the surprise of the morning. Can he come off the dock like a rocket and snatch it away from the 52 of Rinker and the 17 of Anderson coming third? We'll find out. 30 seconds, drivers, 30 seconds. Then it's the 13 of Grant Schubert, 24 of Spencer Love, the 29 of Jared Jensen. Let's see who's going to take heat number 1. 20 seconds, drivers. You're under starters orders. The flag is up. Drops the flag there. Great jump. No surprise, Tim, by the 24 of Spencer Love. But boy, look at the 17 of Dylan Anderson. He came out of nowhere.
The mid-range.
Wow. Once he got that thing on plane, he just took off and just disappeared into the ether, Tim.
He sure did. The mid-range that he has in that package is unbelievable. It's a kind of a short run to the first turn here. And look who's in second. The starting expert, number 24.
And here comes the 29 of Jared Jensen up the outside. Now this 52 of Rinker stuck down to the inside. He's just hanging on for dear life in this opening lap of this 8 minute plus 2 laps Formula 1 qualifying heat number 1. Well, look out there. Rinker puts it high coming out of turn numbers 1 and 2. Boy, he's got that thing to the limit, Tim, trying to hold off the 29 of Jensen and somehow track down the 24 of Spencer Love, who had a cracker start going from 6th all the way up to 2nd.
Something happened to the number 13 of Grant Schubert, because he was 4th on the starting dock, and he is way back in the field now. He got caught up on that inside in lane 1, going through the dog leg, and just got shut down. And
that's, I have a feeling you're going to find more than one driver be victim to that here this weekend. I think it almost acts like an extra pick or an extra back marker out there. The course itself allows a driver to use the course to his own advantage and dictate where the other drivers can go, and it's unique here in Marble Falls.
Definitely. You can hold somebody up, or you can make up some ground being able to sweep it on the outside.
See, now Anderson out in front here, he's choosing to set it through the chicane, whereas the rest, a lot of the other guys are just kind of swinging it wide, except for the 29 and Jensen, who's now down to the inside there trying to fight with Rinker.
Spencer set it that lap also, that Chris Rinker and Jared floated it through the dog leg, and they made up a little bit of ground.
All right, we're going to stay with the 17 Anderson. He goes down into turn number 3. Again, nice one big giant sweeping turns 3 and 4. It seems like the modus operandi of choice for our drivers here in the Formula 1 class in the opening qualifying heat. He stays off the pin there that time. And Spencer Love trying to go short way around the course. I guess you got to try different things, right, Tim? If you keep doing exactly what you've been doing, nothing's going to change.
Now, you got to try different lines, different corner entry points, so that way you can see where you can pick up.
And just because something's generally not going to work throughout the entirety of a race doesn't mean it won't be a good line for a lap or two, depending on where the other boats are on the course.
You can't get in the mode where you are only comfortable running in one lane throughout a race, because it won't work at some point.
We stay with the 52 Rinker. He comes off the chicane down the dogleg. Now we're going to go up overhead. There comes the 9 of Johnny Fleming. Fleming really got squeezed out there in that opening start as well.
He got squeezed, but you know what? Johnny's hanging in there.
They still
Jared
sitting up there.
Jensen making a run on Rinker on the back straightaway.
There's the 9 of Fleming. That battle between Rinker and 29 of Jensen as they go down into turn number 3 is starting to heat up. That's for 3rd and 4th. But Jensen only 7 seconds off the lead. Here's the 17 of Dylan Anderson now gets by the 99 of Travis Yates. There's the 52 of Rinker. They're coming off of turn 4. Down the front stretch, they're going to go through the chicane. Is he going to shut the door on him? Boy, and that's what's going to kill Jensen right there. He had a good run and just got washed down by the 52 of Chris Rinker through that chicane on the front stretch, Tim.
Well, Chris is being smart. So what he's doing is he's leaving him a lane, which he needs to, but he's making him turn so tight that it's scrubbing off all of Jared's corner speed.
Now let's see what happens here. Turns 3 and 4. Now he goes 3, and then he goes tight off of 4.
Jared's
I'm surprised
going back to the inside again.
He's got to come out there, Tim, you'd think, right? He's got, especially with how tight Rinker went to the pin there off of 4. I expected him to slingshot out to lane 5, little Ricky Bobby type move, and then just run straight and haul all the way down to the pin. But I guess he didn't. Now he's going to have to wind it back up.
He might have to stay to the outside, go through the corner on the inside, and then swing back to the outside when they're exiting.
And just shorten up that crossing of the wake to as short a time and distance as possible by almost 45-degree angle over the wake like that.
That's what I would do, but he's got to take what he can get because they're coming through back markers. Right now, he's on the whitewater of Chris, and his boat doesn't like it.
No, it doesn't, and it is rough here. And now we got that's the 9 of Johnny Fleming still again hanging in 5th.
Right there on the back straightaway, Jared did it that time. Chris is flying it into the wind. Jared went through his rooster tail and got on the outside, and that's going to set him up a little better for this corner down here.
All right, we're going to stay with the 9 of Fleming. Fleming's down into 3 now. Whoa, look out there, Rinker. He got wide. Now he moves it to the outside. There's Jensen.
That's what you want.
And I can imagine a part of it is you want to try to pull Rinker away from the buoy, so hopefully at some point you can then dive underneath and make, or at least attempt to make a move coming off one of the turns. But he's finding some ground out there on the outside in that 29 Island Lake Marine machine. Best
thing that can happen for number 29 is if the number 52 gets up and starts battling with number 24.
Yeah, because they're catching up. The man who's walking away with it right now is Dylan Anderson. You see him cross the start-finish line right there. He's got, boy, he had a 5-second lead. That's got to be probably up to, let's see if we can catch the lap timer as they go by. No, he's probably a good 6, 7 seconds ahead of the 24 Spencer Love. And boy, the 52 Rinker just keeps gaining on Love. Surprised, considering.
Look at Jensen.
Oh boy, he's making a move.
Inside. Side by side, Chris.
Right behind him.
Chris went wide in the exit of 2. He pulls back up on him, side by side into the corner.
Well, here we'll watch. We're going to see Spencer Love come off the turn. Now they're going to flash right away.
Jared needs to bring it out a little bit.
Jared's on the inside. Now he's forcing him to the outside. They are deck to deck. Wow, what a move. Jensen looks like he might have pulled it off as they go through the right-hander. Excuse me, they go through the chicane on the front stretch and down into turns 1 and 2.
He's got it.
Wow, what a move by the 29 of Jensen. That kid has really figured it out here in 2026. He baited Rinker out. Rinker moved too far. He dove underneath and just took it from him.
Well, he was using the inside and the outside. So, you know, Chris can only go one way. So as soon as Chris would go to the inside, Jared jumped to the outside. It's very good driving.
I can imagine it's a skill to be able to figure out how to make the driver in front of you feel like he's seeing you in both side mirrors at the same exact time.
Well, my dad always said, you got to know what that driver's going to do in front of you before he knows what he's going to do.
And Love is hanging on now. Now Jensen's trying to track him down. As you can see in frame, here's the 24 of Spencer Love, gone out of turn number 3. Then there's the 29 of Jensen. He is closing in on him. We've got 1 minute plus 2 laps remaining here in this first Formula One qualifying heat here. There's the 24 of Love. Jensen is gaining ground, but the question is, Tim, will he have enough time with just 52 seconds plus 2 laps?
I think it's going to be too little too late. It's one thing to catch up to him. It's a totally different thing to pass him.
Absolutely. And boy, the man who hasn't even been sniffed for a pass here in heat number 1 is the man out in front, the 17 of Dylan Anderson. Now we see the 9 of Johnny Fleming hanging on to 5th.
Johnny's running good. He's run a nice, clean race. Jeremiah in the number 8, Jeremiah Mayo, has come a long way through the pack, but I think Johnny's just riding it out.
Yeah, he is. And, how about that 14 of Andrew Tate finds himself back in 10th position. Or 9th position, the 13 of Grant Schubert in 10th position, so some uncharacteristically low positions. But that's what happens here on the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series. You miss that setup by just the tiniest little fraction, and you can go from first to worst real quick here. But we're about to see the white flag come out, Tim.
Andrew Tate in the number 14. He's got plenty of speed. He has a problem going through the dog leg. So every time he comes through there, he's got to set the boat, and that costs him.
All right, white flag for our leader. The 17 of Dylan Anderson, that Anderson Marine machine, he's pushing hard. The 29 of Jared Jensen there's trying to track down the man in second. That's the 24 of Spencer Love as they go down into the final turn on the west end of the course. Here in this final lap of the opening qualifying heat in Formula One.
Right on him. Number 29 versus number 24. But Spencer's got that acceleration off the corner.
He does. There's the 17 of Dylan Anderson, his team, as he's going to sweep it down into turn 3. Nice and easy off of turn 4. He's got a big lead. He's cruising. Ladies and gentlemen, he came off the dock like a rocket, going wire to wire from the opening lap. Your winner of qualifying heat number 1, number 17, Mr. Dylan Anderson.
Spencer hangs on for second.
And what a hard run there by the 29 of Jared Jensen. I think those two are showing the rest of the field, hey guys, we're going to make this a 2-horse race as quickly as we can, as they are clearly separating. They started 5th and 6th. They finished 2nd and 3rd. Anderson still got some ground to make up. He's sitting 3rd in points coming into the weekend. So you maybe call it a 3-horse race, but boy, super impressed with what happened here in qualifying heat number 1.
And look, Jeremiah Mayo in the number 8 made up some ground too.
Finishing 6th there after he struggled in fast lap qualifiers. 24 Spencer Love in 2nd. Jared Jensen there with a nice podium. Rinker got to be kicking himself a little bit. Going to have to go back to the drawing board for heat number 2. But hey, nice run there by Johnny Fleming. Starting 3rd, finishing 5th.
Really good result.
Absolutely. That's got to be some big confidence booster for the driver out of the Woodlands, Texas. Hey, Kyle Maskell coming in 7th. Andrew Tate finishes out solid 8th. 34 of Jeff Reno in 9th. Grant Schubert, you said he had a problem yesterday. Looks like more of that might be popping up today. He can't muster better than a 10th position. And then rounding out the field, the 99 of Travis Yates and the 98 of Hayden Benton. Well, that wraps up qualifying heat number 1 here in Formula Ones. We've got our another tunnel hole class coming up. The Formula Lights are coming up next. And that one, Tim, is just as jammed as Formula 1 is. Jake McKee coming in with a solid lead. All right, but before that, let's take a recap of qualifying heat number 1. Dylan, how does this happen, Tim?
Chris got a good initial lunge, but then
did he have a big wheel on?
No, I don't think he would, considering the short run to the first turn.
And then, boy, great couple of opening turns there by Spencer Love. He's able to get from 5th around Fleming, around the 52 of Rinker, all the way up into 2nd on the opening lap, but nobody had an answer for the 17 of Dylan Anderson, did they?
No, they didn't. Not in that heat. So we're going to have to see, because now Anderson's got to go, and he's going to start last. So we'll see what he's got.
Absolutely.
How can he go through the field now?
Yeah, the real battle was right here between the 52 of Chris Rinker and the 29 of Jared Jensen. It was a game of cat and mouse all heat long. And there, as you see right there, on about the 3rd or 4th to last lap, with 29 of Jensen, got him to move far enough out and then just dove underneath him.
Well, I think Chris was getting close enough to Spencer where he had to take a different line than the inside. And as soon as he did, Jared came in, got underneath him, had the acceleration to pull up next to him, and held it until they got into 3 and 4.
Yeah, it was an impressive for a young driver who has really grown a ton. It's amazing what a podium finish can do for the psyche, that space between your ears. The person that I talked to in Port Neches, Texas, or in Alton, Illinois last year versus the person I talk to now after that win in Colorado feel like two completely different people. The confidence is there to go along with fantastic motors and a great support team behind them.
Now, they have continued to gain confidence from a year ago. And right now, look, first race of the year, podium.
Yep.
Second race of the year, podium. So they had a little bit of a hiccup when their switch box went out down in Shreveport, but they battled all race long, and they come back out, heard a motor yesterday. They got their backup motor on, but guess what? Seems like it's just as strong.
Yeah, it does, because he was able to motor his way all the way up into that third position. And then there's the quiet confidence of Spencer Love. The man, you wouldn't know if he won the lottery or if, or if the most worst thing that could have ever happened to him happened. It's the same guy all the time, very even keel, which I think when it comes into tight battles like we're seeing here in the 2026 points championship, got to be a big advantage because he always seems to be cool, calm, and collected.
Well, it's just there's something to be said of not getting too excited. Don't go too far one way or another, because you got to keep your emotions in check so you can think through any problems that you may have, and you got to be able to think out on the race course. This is a 120-mile-an-hour chess game. So when these guys are out there, it's not like they're trying to get an adrenaline rush going and for a football play, and then you get to rest. You've got to have sustained concentration, and you've got to be able to think while you're out there in the middle of all this.
So you're saying people like me probably not best for behind the wheel?
Probably not.
All right, well, we're going to break. We'll be right back with more racing from Texas right after this.
Here we go with some hot laps right now for the Formula Lights guys, getting everything warmed up, feeling what the boat's like, just so it gives them the confidence that, hey, all my equipment's right. I can go into this race and push it to try and get the win. Oh, number 21, Jose Madonna, brand new hull for him this year. He continues to fine-tune that thing, and so far, he's been getting faster, but mainly he gets faster when he gets low on fuel.
Interesting.
And that could come down to prop selection. I talked to him last night, and he said he tried 4 new props yesterday, and he went back to the Shreveport prop.
I was going to say, I talked to him as well, and he said, and 2 of them are going back to David DeWalt immediately.
Well, that's the thing. These propellers are handmade. So some of them are CNC'd, they're cast, then they CNC them, and some of the last finish work is all by hand. So even though you have them copied, it's still hand work. So there's a little bit of variance there. And the propeller is so important because on a tunnel boat like this, it's your transmission, your tire compound, your suspension, all built into one little thing.
Yeah, and and you can see it especially here in Formula Lights because they're running just a 45 cubic inch 2-cylinder OMC outboard. Not that raw power that the Formula One has. So when the propeller is a little bit off, you can tell. When they get stuck in the corners, you can tell. But what a great class this has been for so long to feed drivers into the Formula One class, because you really have to learn how to wheel that Formula Light boat because you don't have a huge motor on the back of that thing.
No, look, they don't have a lot of power. So when the setup, you've got to make sure the setup is right. So every single thing is so critical. And the more horsepower you have, you can overcome some of that. Now, the good thing is that everything doesn't happen as fast in a Formula Light boat as it does a Formula One boat. But it's just as critical, and your driving has to be right on point, because otherwise you're going to scrub off too much speed. You're not going to trim it right, especially getting off the dock. You're trying to leverage that boat and pick it up, and you're running a 8-inch, 7-8-inch diameter propeller. They're very small.
Yeah, they are. All right. Well, we're getting these guys lined up on the dock there. There's the 21 of Mendana lining up. Boy, we see the 69 of Wallach, the 01 of McKee. They're all getting ready to go for qualifying heat number 1. But right now, we're going to send it down to the pits with heat 1 winner in Formula One, Dylan Anderson.
Here with Dylan Anderson, the number 17, heat number 1 of the day. You are the winner of that heat. You started out not up on the first, but then you ended up going into the lead, and you took it from the green to the checkers for the most part. So how'd you do it?
Yeah, we were, kind of worried going into the first race. Chris Rinker laid pretty much a half a second faster lap than us in qualifying. We put on a prop that we knew was going to get us off the beach into the first turn pretty quick. Left him what I thought was a healthy amount of room there and stuck it in and went. And the boat just drove like a rocket ship, and we stayed up front.
Well, and here you are, day number 1, again, getting first place in your heat number 1. So congratulations on that. And, it's been a great day so far for you.
Yeah, no complaints at all. Pretty happy. Happy with what the boat's doing. Happy with how the crew's treating everything and how everybody's treating each other. And I think it's going to be good racing this weekend.
All right, one more question about it. Let's talk about the water out there, the water conditions that you did. Obviously it was no problem for you.
It got tricky. It might look easy for some people sometimes, but it's never easy. Last 5 to 10 laps of the race were definitely bumpy, and you kind of had to be on your toes for sure.
Well, huge congratulations to you on the heat race number 1 out here, winner, and tomorrow we get to do this all over again, but congratulations on day number 1.
Thank you very much. Hope to talk to you again.
All right, and there we have it right here. Dylan Anderson, our heat race number 1 winner of the day of our Formula Boats. Let's go back to you guys.
All right, that was the 17 of Dylan Anderson. Boy, just pretty chill. Another day at the office for the 17 of Dylan Anderson. He's starting to get really comfortable, even in interviews. Him.
2 things stick out to me on that first heat in Formula One. Very first thing is the mid-range that Dylan had coming off the dock. Chris got the initial jump, but Dylan had the mid-range. And when you find a prop with that kind of mid-range in it, they're special.
Guard that thing with your life.
Yeah, for sure. The other thing that you could see is as he got lower on fuel, lighter load, then the boat started not handling quite as good. So that may be something that plays in.
All right, let's take a look at our grid lineup for our Formula Lights qualifying heat number 1. As no surprise, the man who didn't make round 3 but was dominant in round 2 in Port Neches, Texas, finds himself qualifying number 1 here, the 69 of Jared Wallach on pole.
Jake McGee continues to progress. He's got some confidence after the Shreveport win, and he's going to put up a battle.
Yeah, he has podiums in all 3 races. Then the Tampa Terror coming third off the dock at 21, Jose Mendana Jr. running for Mike Scott's Plumbing. No surprise, he's going to be right up in there duking it out.
Brandon Popalik missed the last race, did some boat repairs, and looks like they got everything running good and back on track.
Absolutely. Then the 82 of Colby Crook. He's raced out in Bradenton, Florida, couldn't miss because of college golf. He's a college golfer as well. Colby now back in the boat here as we get outside the college golf season. Finds himself 5th off the start pontoon here. Solid finish for the young driver out of Dawson Springs, Kentucky.
Addison Dunford, he has had a great year so far. Nice and consistent. He's not been the fastest, but he's always in the hunt.
Yep, 3rd in points coming into round 4. Can he have his best weekend of the season? Then we've got the pile of rookies there at the backside. First to 6 of Carissa Saddle, the young driver out of Columbia, Missouri, running for C&M Concrete, followed by the 12 of Jack Schubert. And then it's the 24 of Shelby Love, the 11 of RJ West. And rounding out our field here is the 2 of Travis Thompson, the 93 of Briston Sherman, and it looks like the 35 of Mark Schmierbach shuffled to the back of the start dock here in qualifying number 1. All right, well, we've got them all lined up and ready to go here, and we are going to just moments from getting underway here in our test flag for our Formula Light drivers. Notice it's in a different position than it was for Formula 1. Different angle of attack for these Formula Lights, but coming up here momentarily on the 1-minute gun for the first start of our first heat of qualifying here in Formula Lights. Well, 1 minute drivers, 1 minute. Will the 69 of Jared Wallach find that fast lap off the dock and come out in front early and win qualifying heat number 1? 50 seconds, drivers, 50 seconds. But he looks to his right, series points leader, and the young driver that's been on the podium at every race is right off his hip. Will Jake McKee come off the dock like a rocket? 40 seconds, drivers, 40 seconds. Well, you can't forget about the likes of Shelby Love, Jose Mendana Jr., Mark Schmierbach, and the host of drivers here in Formula Lights. 30 seconds, drivers, 30 seconds. Addison Dunford. Watch out, Dark Horse, 93 of Briston Sherman. That's a fast boat. Let's see who's going to take heat number 1. 20 seconds, drivers. You're under starter's orders. The flag is up. He drops the flag. Let's see who's going to get away clean. Looks like the Wallach and McKee. Great jump, but there's that mid-range from the 35 of Schmierbach, Tim. Looks like that's the ticket here in Marble Falls. It's all about mid-range as they go down into turn number 3. They'll come around through 3 and 4, cross the start-finish line, and start lap 1 of this 6 minutes plus 1 lap. Oh, look out there. Oh, Wallach spins out with Schmierbach down in turn number 3. They get together. Was that Shelby Love? No, that was the 69 of Jared Wallach and the 35 of Schmierbach. We had an unbelievable overhead shot right there. Schmierbach went in, dove down into lane 1, and they just ran out of room, got together, tap nose to tail. And you notice there the 69 of Wallach. Let's take a look at that replay here from overhead. Boy, it looks like he had the overlap and he tried to just shut the door, and Wallach just couldn't turn tight enough down there in the pin. As you said, Tim, turn 3 down there is real tricky to hold the pin.
It sure is. Mark came across, and it's hard to see from that angle how much room there was, but 2 boats trying to go in the same piece of real estate.
Yeah, it makes for a difficult start to a race when there's only room for 1 and 2 of them try to fit themselves in there.
That's right. Now,
when it looks like everybody's back running, the 35 of Schmierbach is back under power. Now the 69 of Wallach, though, he heads to the trailer. I wonder what kind of damage there might have been sustained on that Peterson Racing Latitude Dispensary sponsored Formula Light. As we see the 35 of Schmierbach here, he's keeping those RPMs up, so that means to me that maybe there's some damage on the underside of that 35. Oh boy, 2 of the top competitors here get together, tag each other on the opening lap of the opening qualifying heat. Boy, when points are tight and every point matters, these guys are pushing it to the limit, and sometimes, those limits overlap one another, and boy, it looks like maybe the 69 of Wallach got the worst end of it, as Schmierbach seems to be floating okay, going back to the start dock to get reset here for qualifying heat number 1 in Formula Lights.
Well, I'm sure they're just checking his boat out, both boats. Make the crew's looking at them, make sure they're race worthy, no damage.
And they're hopping on the deck there, and they're going to check the side. Bottom. Yep, kind of give it a feel down there, see if there's any damage from where. Because it looks like the 69 of Wallach just tapped the back left corner of the 35 of Schmierbach, and typically you normally see damage, especially considering that's one of the few wood boats remaining here in the Formula Lights class. You look at the likes of McKee, Wallach, Mendana, Love, Saddle. They're all running full composite boats. Jack Schubert's in a composite boat. So is the 82 of Colby Crook. One of the few wood hulls remaining. And then looks like we got a restart here. We're going to go rolling 2x2. And it looks like because the 69 of Wallach and the 35 of Schmierbach were the ones that caused the incident, they're going to go back of the start pontoon outside of our rookies of Saddle and Schubert. Well, I apologize, of just Saddle, who's our lone rookie here, as Schubert got his rookie status lifted. So the 01 of Jake McKee is now going to move up to the inside of row 1. Then on the outside of row 1 is going to be 24 of Shelby Love. Inside of row 2, the 21 of Jose Mendana Jr. Then the 93 of Briston Sherman. Now he's our other rookie. I don't know if he's going to be allowed to start there or he'll have to go to the back of the dock. He is. Okay, all right. So because of his time in Tri-Hall and running Formula One, his rookie status has been lifted, so he's actually going to start in 4th. That's the guy you should watch out for. The 93 of Briston Sherman in that is really fast in that Rick's roofing machine. He has been screaming fast. He first jumped in the boat last race and clearly had a knack for it. Finished very, very well in that in his opening race in Formula Lights. Now back here for his second race. He's been running in tri-hulls for 5-6 years. So a force to be reckoned with. Then the 60 of Brandon Bobolic, the 82 of Colby Crook's going to be 6th. 7th, the 52 of Addison Dumford. 8th, the 2 of Travis Thompson. 9th, the 12 of Jack Schubert. Then the 6 of Chris Saddle. And then the 69 of Wallach and the 35 of Schmierbach. That is if the 69 of Wallach can even get the boat back on the water after 2 of the top 4 drivers in the Formula Lights class get together in the opening heat, opening corner of the opening heat down here in Formula Lights. Tim, boy, that's Peterson Racing and the 69 of Jared Wallach have got to be very frustrated, as the 35 of Schmierbach, he's out on the water still, and we don't know if the 69 of Wallach is going to be able to make it back out here for qualifying Heat 1, or was there damage sustained, which would surprise me. That's a full composite boat, Tim.
Well, we'll see. We don't know at this point. I don't know if Pam's over there. Maybe she could give us an update. But regardless, both those boats, since they stopped the race, they go to the back.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate, but guess what? That's the rules.
And Shelby Love, Jake McKee especially, Jose Mendana, they're all loving that those two went to the back. Nobody more, though, than the 01 of Jake McKee, because he now finds himself in the catbird seat inside of row 1 in this 2x2 rolling start here in Formula Lights.
Here's the thing. It's the beginning of the weekend, the very first heat. You can lose a race in the first heat, but you can't win a race in the first heat.
No.
So the best thing you can do is, if it's that tight, give the guy a little extra room, because you both have to make it through the heat, and you don't get the points unless you finish the heat.
And you got to remember, Mark Schmierbach, he was here last year. He understands how tight you've got to turn that boat. The 69 of Wallach, not here last year. May have been just one of those things where Schmierbach thought he gave him enough room. Jared thought he had enough room, stuck his nose in there and just ran out of real estate, tagged the back end of the 35 of Schmierbach. Hopefully we can see him back out on the water here momentarily.
Now we're going back through. We're going to get it. We're going to get a lineup here, and we are getting ready to go. So this is going to be a rolling start now for the guys,
which is completely different than the modified Le Mans start that we just went through. We didn't even complete one lap, and now they've got to completely shift not only their mindset, but Tim, all these setups that they had ready and dialed in for a modified Le Mans stock start with that good mid-range like we saw off the 35 of Schmierbach, throw that out the window. Now the guy who maybe wasn't hoping for the best start but was looking for a big wheel and top-end speed's got a huge advantage here in this rolling restart.
You know, here's the thing, though. It's a short run to the first turn. So they're going to be using their acceleration props, because, you know, it's not like some of the other races where we have the Formula Lights go all the way down to the Formula One turn and come back, right?
That's true.
So these guys are all making that short run. So I don't think that there's any magic to the props they're picking. I think these are their best race props.
All right, well, they're going to go make a wide, go underneath the bridge there that crosses the Colorado River and spin them back around. And it's smart. I like seeing Jared give him that little bit longer run. If nothing more, let some of those wakes kind of make their way across the course and give him as clean a water as possible here on the restart. And I'm curious to see, you know, you got the experience in the 01 of Mandana, and you've got two quasi teammates up there in 1 and 2. Now, I do see the 35 of Mark Schmierbach up on the front there. I'm curious to see what's going on with that. I thought he was moved to the back of the start pontoon, so he may have to make his way back. But they're coming down, heading west. Okay, just got an update here. Looks like the 69 of Jared Wallach was actually the only driver penalized. So that throws another wrench right in everything. Now Schmierbach smack dab in the middle. He gets another crack at it.
It allows him to start in his original starting position because the stoppage was caused by the 69.
Right, so now he's going to move into the roll one and then rolling start, and the jet ski. Jared pulls off. We're waiting for a green flag. He drops the green flag. Go, go, go. Schmierbach down to the inside there. That's going to give him a nice little run to the inside lane. Now Shelby Love dows hard down to the inside with Mandana on her outside hip. Boy, how lucky the 35 of Mark Schmierbach's got to feel right now. He's not going to take this one for granted, Tim, I don't think.
No, and you know, the way the course and where the judges stand is, everything is such a small run to the first turn. It is incredible.
Yeah, it's real bang bang. Once they drop that flag, they were almost already setting up for the turn as they come down the front straightaway. Schmierbach now has opened up a bit of a lead over the 01 of McKee because he's got a rear view mirror filled with the 24 of Shelby Love as she's down to the inside, but she's also trying to hold off the 21 of Mandana.
I think that's going to be an advantage for Jose Mandana in the number 21.
Yeah, he's
because
all about
got the teammates in second and third.
Right.
So they're going to start battling each other, and it's going to give him a little leeway to come up. But hey, look who's in fourth.
Yeah, Briston Sherman.
Fifth, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, he's my dark horse on the weekend. That boat looks scary fast. It was new to him. He's run Formula One, heavily experienced in tri-hull. But boy, I think he's going to find him. I think he might have found a class where he's got a real knack in these Formula Lights because he was flying last weekend and he's cruising here.
He told me it felt fast this morning.
It looked fast this morning out here in testing. He qualified in the top 6. Pretty solid run for a driver new to Formula Lights. Again, he's run Formula Ones. He's run a ton of tri-hulls, so he's got a ton of experience behind the wheel. But it's amazing when a driver just finds like their groove and everything just clicks together, and that ascension is so quick.
He's liking it. He was really enjoying himself in the Formula Lights class.
Yeah, well, you know who's really liking it right now is the man out in front. We just saw him flash through the corner through turn 1, now out of 2. That's the 35 of Mark Schmierbach. He's loving. He's got 2 teammates fighting it out behind him. He just keeps extending that lead. And we know from past races this season, Tim, Mark's going to try to run away with it because we've seen so many final dock start positions. Elapsed time was the difference between 3rd and 5th off the dock, and that can be a big difference, especially in the main event.
Mark's run good all year, but he just has been missing that little something. And guess what? I think he found that little something for this week.
And if that little something stands around all weekend long, he could throw an absolute grenade into the season standings, and we could see them tighten up even more than they already are coming into round number 4.
That's right, because we saw him qualify better, you know, and it all starts with qualifying. These guys now are honing in on a qualifying setup that they didn't used to do. They used to qualify with their race setup.
Right.
Now they got a specific qualifying setup because the start is so critical.
Yeah, you got to nail it here.
So tight.
Yeah, I mean, 1 millisecond off of your best performance and you could get shuffled back quite a ways. And boy, the 24 of Love just not going anywhere. McKee just cannot seem to shake her. Looks like those electrical gremlins they've been chasing the last couple rounds might have finally worked their way out, Tim.
Yeah, Shelby's running better than number 24. Looks like she's not having the issues she was having before. I think that her line generally is on the outside. She's got to find a way to slide on the outside of Jake.
And Jake's been doing actually a pretty good job. He just keeps baiting her to the inside, and when she goes, he's just, I'm going to hold you there. I'm going to pin you to the inside so that you can't move back outside of me without severely backing off, which, I mean, he'll take either in that situation, right?
There she goes now. She finally made her way to the outside because she skipped out a little bit there. But let's see if she holds it. She just needs to get right on his hip. She pulls up on him. So that shows you she's got the speed.
And there's the 21 of Mendana, and that Mike Scott Plumbing coming out of turn 4. He doesn't seem to have an answer either. But he's hanging on. You know, Mendana hasn't qualified on pole yet, but yet he's right there in points. Why? Because when it comes to those longer races, that experience, becomes so beneficial for the driver from Tampa, Florida, because he'll find that one spot on like lap 26 as the drivers are getting tired and the boats are getting lighter, and then he'll make that move. And we've seen him move 2, 3, 4 positions in late stages in the finals on Sunday.
That's right. Once that boat lightens up a little bit, all of a sudden he starts making up ground on everybody.
Now he's just got to figure out what is the root cause of that and how can I have that happen all the time, right? But that's the tricky part, because once you try to set it up at the beginning with a full tank that way, when the tank lightens in the final, is it going to become too much to handle?
That's right. Hey, look at your leader, number 35, Mark Schmierbach. He is coming up on a group of lappers. Oh, Carissa Saddle spun out right in front of him. That could be disastrous.
But he avoided it. Schmierbach was able to get through clean. Now Saddle's smart, doesn't try to fire up. She's like, I'm going to wait till there's a hole in the traffic here. But that doesn't, I mean, he's still got to get up around the 12 of Schubert and the 2 of Thompson. So we could see it squeeze a little bit here, but we're 37 seconds plus 2 laps, Tim. I think somebody like Mark Schmierbach, that might be just enough time for him to hang on.
Look at the gap, though, between Jake McKee in the 01 and the number 35 of Mark Schmierbach. All of a sudden, that's starting to come down a little bit. Too little, too late, though, I think.
Yeah, it's Saddle there. We got the blue and yellow flag out there. It means there's a boat without power on the course, but they are out of harm's way. Just making all our drivers aware of what's going on there. We see the leaders coming out of turns 3 and 4. Down now front stretch. The 35 of Schmierbach on the inside there trying to get by the lapper. That's the 12 of Jack Schubert. White flag is out. White flag is out. Go fast, turn left. Just a couple more times. Four more times for the 35 of Schmierbach. Boy, he was able to make quick work of the 12 of Schubert. And boy, I mean, that's what happens when you're a veteran, right? Once you see somebody stomp on the gas and you lose a little ground like he did, avoiding the 6 of Saddle, he just made a couple of moves, no big deal, and opened that gap right back up.
That's right, but
now
those lappers are definitely going to play into the positions.
Absolutely.
Later on in the longer race in the final.
Ladies and gentlemen, after getting tagged and spun out in the opening lap, he somehow comes back and goes wire to wire. Your winner in qualifying heat number 1 out of Greenfield, Wisconsin, running for Pizza Inn, number 35, Mark Schmierbach.
Jake McKee stays consistent, comes home in second. Good result.
And Shelby Love moves her way up to third. And obviously the big surprise there, the 69 of Jared Wallach has to put the boat on the trailer. Is his weekend done? Can they get it fixed? We'll have to wait and find out, but that's going to wrap up heat number 1. Coming up later on this afternoon in Formula Lights, we're going to have our qualifying heat number 2, invert the field. Now the 35 of Schmierbach has got to do something that is a lot harder from leading out front, and he's going to have to run his way through the field. And with how tight this field is and how rough this water gets, Tim, that could be a very, very tall order.
It's going to be interesting. You know, those first four for sure. If either one of them gets out front, I don't know that the others are going to pass them unless they make a mistake.
Right, and that's where you have to at least be in position to be able to capitalize on a mistake if it comes up. But you also have to have the patience and the understanding that if it doesn't present itself, I don't want to force the issue, because some points, second place points, are better than last place points when it comes to the overall season championship. And those top 4 drivers all over it. Here's the results there. A solid 3-second lead. Probably got down to about a 1.5 seconds there with a couple of laps to go, but Mark Schmierbach pulls it off over the 01 of Jake McKee.
You know, Shelby Love looks like she's back on track now in the number 24. So she was right on second place, so that's good to see.
Yeah, the 21 of Mendana there in 4th. Still learning that boat a little bit, but he'll take a top 4. And then the 93 of Briston Sherman was able to make his way all the way up to a top 5 finish. Not too bad for the driver out of Richmond, Texas. I have a feeling we might see a 93 with Briston Sherman in the cockpit for the rest of the 2026 season.
Yeah, he's having fun, and it shows. Brandon Babalik coming home in 5th. Good result after patching the boat up.
Yeah, he did. Got it back together. Colby Crook shaking the dust off after a collegiate golf season that kept him out of rounds 2 and 3. Good to see Travis Thompson there in 7th back. It's been a rough couple of years for him, and he just really was hoping to get this year started off earlier for sure. but able to get out there in a solid seventh in Heat 1.
Jack Schubert coming home in 8th. Fantastic result for him.
You know, surprised, probably his worst finish on the season, the 52 of Addison Dumford back there in 10th position. Very, very unlike the driver running for Dumford Irrigation. And then the 6 of Carissa Saddle. Sorry, Carissa. Carissa Saddle. Oh, looks like I got some tips going to fill in here with Carissa Saddle and then Wallach rounding out. Let's take a recap here. We had the initial start, Tim. They get together. They both spin out. Really surprised that Wallach was the one that went to the trailer and not the 35 of Schmierbach.
Well, that's the way the officials see it. And, you know, from the camera vantage point, you really can't tell. So they're right down in the corner, and they can tell who had room and who didn't.
And then we had the restart. Schmierbach somehow gets it out. All right, and so, you know, then we get on the restart. Schmierbach gets it back together, finds himself on the inside of lane 1, and cruises all the way from there. You know, he had a little bit of McKee for a lap or two, but boy, it was really Mark Schmierbach's to lose after that rolling restart there after the wreck on the opening lap.
Nobody was going to touch him, not in that first heat.
Now, and I heard you talking to chief scorer Lindsey Matthews. Looks like we might have had some infractions there on that rolling start that may have affected the final point standings. What happened there with a couple of drivers, Tim?
So it looks like we had some lane infractions, which you have to hold your lane on the start. And we had 2 boats that were penalized, and they get a lap penalty. So the 21 of Madonna and the 52 of Dumford.
Okay, well, that makes sense as to why when we finally saw the standings, he was back down as far as he was, because that's surprising, but that's got to hurt for the 21 of Mendana. Be curious to see, you know, when what was the cause of the lane infraction? Did they move too wide? Because we get this almost like flying V, like a flock of geese migrating. They like to go off each other's outside hip continually
But they're
further.
supposed to be inside
Right
the lane, inside the wake of the boat in front of you.
And that's, I can appreciate as a tunnel boat driver, that's got to be so counterintuitive, because your whole career you're told, don't go right behind the person in front of you, stay off their hip. Well, in this situation, they all want, you can see them all trying to skirt off the hip when they're supposed to be right behind. And it looks like, you know, 2 of them pushed the limit a little too far, with the 21 Andania and the 52 of Dumford getting tagged for a lap penalty. But hey, it's early yet. We still got 2 qualifying heats to go. What that's going to mean for the rest of the field is now, if Wallach can get it fixed, him and the 21 of Mendana are going to be 2 very, very fast boats at the top of the grid for the Heat 2 start in Formula Lights qualifying.
And Dumford as well, the number 52.
Yeah. All right, well, coming up, so that wraps up our Formula Lights and Formula One first qualifying heat. Now we've got the newest class on the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series. We call it the Talent Cup. These drivers are as young as 9 years old. We've got 4 of them out there on the water, and they're going to run their first of 3 4-lap qualifying heats here in the Talent Cup. And you'll see a lot of continuity between some of these drivers and some other drivers in their families that may race in other classes. The one that's most notable, that's the number 24 boat that's on screen right there. That's Addie Love, younger sister of Shelby Love, Formula Lights driver and top contender, as well as the 24 of Spencer Love, your current points leader in Formula One. So they own the number 24 across 3 of 4 classes. I'm just waiting for somebody on the Clover team to decide to pick up a tri-hull, and they can have a 24 in all 4 classes that we run. But Addie's actually your series points leader so far through the first 2 rounds. We didn't debut the Talent Cup in Bradenton, Florida. One-day event, 3 classes. First time adding this 4th class. It was just too much to ask for us as well as the kids. So we opened their season up at round 2 on the Formula One series in Port Neches, Texas, and that saw Addie Love take home victory there, and then a solid second in Shreveport at the Red River Rumble has got Addie Love out in front.
And she's starting on pole.
Points. Ooh, and she pulled pole. And the cool thing about the Talent Cup, I believe, Tim, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe, much like our tri-holes, it's a random draw for who gets inside of lane 1. So they got, we're stepping back from the technology era when we do our drivers. It's popsicle sticks in a red Solo Cup, or I think they've got now these cool numbered blocks that they've used for a while in the tri-hull class. But essentially, you draw for position, a very common occurrence across motorsports when it comes to first qualifying rounds. We've used it in the tri-hull class for years. You guys decide to apply that same starting procedure to the Talent Cup, making it probably pretty easy for them to get in and learn as they're learning so much else.
Yeah, so we're really taking an initiative with our young drivers to teach them all aspects of powerboat racing. So we want to show them the procedures, the start procedures, you know, what the flags are, how the races work, how you follow the pace boat. So there's several things that we're trying to do, and we want to do it on a platform with all of our other racing. So they're in with the big boys. They're here in the pits with them. So
they're at the drivers' meeting side by side.
Side by side, that's right. So we want to teach them the craft of powerboat racing. And there's a lot more to it than just going out and trying to win the race.
Absolutely, as we are going to do just like we did with tri-hull. We're going to bring them down to the west end of the course, the east end of the course. They're going to go around the Formula One turns 3 and 4, and then they're going to come down here to the start-finish line, and they're going to essentially use that same course that the tri-hulls are using out here on the Colorado River to run their 3 4-lap qualifying heats. It's all about the start, and then from there on out, Tim, it's all about how they navigate these V-bottoms through the corners. They're a little bit, the way the design of the hull makes it a little bit easier for them to learn how to turn. That doesn't mean you can't park it down in the corner and end up motionless watching your competitors roll off into the sunset.
No, and the reason we use the V-bottoms versus the tunnel in a class of this speed, these guys and gals, they're going around 38 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour, and the V-bottom just handles a lot better at those speeds. So, but they'll have to come back, and they're going to have to run over that rough water that they just churned up.
Yeah, they are. And you said the 24 of Addie Love, she's going to be the inside of row 1 here in the Talent Cup. Then the outside of row 1, that's the 77 of Colton Shane, followed by the 36 of Jackson Cressy and the 69 of Logan Brown.
They're all lined up this time.
Boy, they went 4 wide there as the 24 of Love. Now look, here comes the 69 of Logan Brown. Big run on the outside.
That's right. Addie pushes Colton out a little bit.
Oh boy, and then Jackson Cressy slides underneath.
Slides underneath, goes from 4th to 2nd. What a move.
Boy, and he said he got some testing in before the last round in Shreveport at the Red River Rumble. They've got a beautiful little body of water right there in Freeport, Texas, where he lives. I know exactly where he tested. It gets a little windy, it gets a little rough, but boy, he's really figured out how to corner that GT15 hull so well in and out of the corners, and it's amazing how much ground you can make up in this class when you can corner as well as he's been able to early on.
I like the speed of Logan Brown.
He's liking that wide line to the outside, but as we come down the front stretch, it's still the 24 of Addie Love out in front. Now Cressy's moved down to the inside. Surprising.
He's got some speed. Look at that, number 69. Now he can finally get to the inside. Look at that corner. Great job.
There we go. Now, he struggled at Shreveport at the Red River Rumble. He had a hole in his boat that they had to patch. So it was kind of a makeshift, try not to sink the boat to the bottom of the Red River, with my 10-year-old in it.
That was a rough weekend for him. But you know what? It taught him a lot. And look how he's coming back and bouncing back.
The resiliency, right?
Heck,
I think that's the biggest thing that Logan took from the weekend. You could tell he was frustrated because it wasn't where he wanted to finish, but he still collected points. He's still in the conversation, and you learn so much more from moments like that than you do when everything goes perfectly and you win.
Exactly, and this is new for everybody, so everybody's figuring it out. It's not that. The class has been around a long time over here, because it hasn't. This is the first year, so we're 3 races into it.
Yeah. And, big in Scandinavia, Germany as well, and the European side of things. And I'm excited to see this here, and I have a feeling we're going to see some exponential growth over the next 12 to 18 months, Tim.
We are, and the balancing of the boats, I know Colton in number 77 in fourth right now. They're still figuring out the balance of the boat. So once they do that, it's going to take that hop out of it, so he can keep the propeller in the water and keep it moving forward. So he's come a long way, though. He's running a lot better now than he did 2 weeks ago.
Oh, absolutely. Here we go. The white flag is out for the 24 of Addie Love. She's trying to hang on and win the opening qualifying heat with the 69 of Logan Brown behind her. Then the 36 of Jackson Cressy rounding out the podium. You're right, and it's not like he doesn't have the pedigree. I mean, his father, Jimmy Shane, I think just ended up going about 164.5 miles an hour in Tri-Cities, Washington last weekend. He comes, oh, look out there, Jackson Cressy gets a little squirrely. Can Colton Shane make a move on the final lap? And that's what happens. You get a little relaxed there. You try to go a little too tight, and watch, Colton Shane's going to leave him standing still coming out of turn number 1. And we've got a new boat on the podium as the 77 of Colton Shane's able to get by the 36 of Jackson Cressy. Those are the moments.
Got a little sideways. He tried to correct it, and it bounced over to the other side, and he kept overcorrecting. But, he's going to take something away from that, and he's going to go, wow. I need to just calm down a little bit when that happens.
Yeah,
but that's all right.
That's okay, but you know what? Who had it dialed in all day? The 24.
They're coming down to the wire, though. Those guys are going to be side by side by the time they get back down.
Well, your winner in qualifying heat number 1, the 24 of Addie Love. Then it's the 69 of Logan Brown. And as they come down the front straightaway, out in front is the 77 of Colton Shane. Then it's the 36 of Jackson Cressy by about 2.5 boat lengths. The 77 of Colton Shane hangs on for third here in qualifying heat number 1 in the Talent Cup. Ooh, Jackson Cressy's going to go back to the pits, upset with himself there again. But you learn more from those moments than you do from when, like a couple of the heats last race in Shreveport, where Jackson was like, yeah, I just got out in front. It was just like driving in the clean water.
It's an opposite experience of what he had in Shreveport, because he couldn't do anything wrong there. So he'll learn from that. They're going to go back. They'll make some adjustments. They'll come back, and I guarantee those kids are having a great time.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, where was this when I was a kid? I bet you Patty Yarborough would have been okay with that. Maybe not trying to put me in a Formula Lights at 12, but the Talent Cup might have been something that, could have eased them in a little bit more instead of just that hard line, like, no.
Yeah. Well, that's why the IHRA has taken this initiative, because we want to groom the next generation of racers, and this is how it starts. So if people our fans are out there, and you want to get your kids involved, get a hold of us. We'll do everything we can to try and help you.
Absolutely. For those here in Marble Falls, those Talent Cup boats are built just down the road in Houston, Texas. Here we go, full field results. The 24 of Addie Love, 7-second win over the 69 of Logan Brown. And then it's the 77 of Colton Shane, who pounced on the 36 of Jackson Cressy on the final lap there after a goof up down in turn number 1 on the final lap. He finishes third. And then Jackson Cressy rounds out fourth. Points coming in here. Addie Love coming into round number 4 at 559 points, followed by the 535 of, that's Luke Brown in the, now we're going to take a look at the recap here. Nice start there by the 24 Addie Love. She kind of got in front and ran away with it, Tim. Nobody really had an answer for
her. Boat set up really good, because you notice when she was coming over the rough water, that thing just hung there and went right over it. So Spencer's got that thing set up just perfect.
Oh, there we go. There's that final lap. The 36 of Jackson Cressy just trying to get that motor to correct. Oh, it's kind of like when you get out of whack trying to back out a boat trailer in. Right is left, left is right. You get all confused, and boy, it cost him a spot there, but that's okay. He'll learn from it. Now the question is can anybody catch Addie Love? She's came in with the points lead and just keeps adding to that lead, Tim, with another first place finish here in the opening qualifying game.
Racking up the points. She learned that from her dad, Spencer, that's for sure.
Yes, she did. Hey, you don't necessarily have to win every single heat race. They do help. However, as long as you're there at every race of the season, once you get to that final race, this year.
Mark Schmierbach. Now, Mark, that was a very, very, I would have to say, adventurous race for you just now. But there was an incident at the beginning that you actually ended up being kind of in the middle of, but you came out on top. So give us a little bit of a rundown.
Well, thank God for the drones that we have flying overhead. And it showed that I left him plenty of room, well, a good lane and a half. And, unfortunately, I was hoping for a good race, because he's really fast. So we'll have to deal with him the rest of the week, I'm sure. But I thought, wow, this is going to be cool.
Well, let's talk about this, too, because Shreveport was basically kind of a great race for you coming in here to Marble Falls. And, having that happen and right off the bat, you were probably kind of concerned what was going to go down for race number 1 today for the Heat 1. But here we are, though, on top, like I just said, but 5th in points right now. So getting 50 points for your Heat race just now will definitely be a benefit as well.
It sure will help. And thank God everything worked out. And I'm glad nobody got hurt.
That is definitely 100% key, that nobody got hurt and everybody came out okay. But let's talk about the rest of the weekend for you, because I know you guys were looking at your boat whenever you guys were just out on the scales getting weighed. Any damage from the accident?
So far, we see nothing. A good kudos to RJ West. He jumped on the dock and checked it out for us because he's a boat builder and he knows what to look for.
Well, that's always good to have a boat builder on your side here at in the pits. But good job out there. Congratulations on Heat Race number 1 win, and we'll see what you're going to do, because you're over here waiting just for your Heat Race 2.
Right, yes, and we thought we'd get in the shade, and we don't have much time. We'll just fill up and go right back out. What a great place to race. Just enjoy this place. We won here last year, and hopefully we can keep this rolling.
It definitely sounds like the Colorado River here at Marble Falls is your place to be on top of the box.
Yes. Well, I finally get one race that I like.
Well, once again, congratulations. We'll let you go to look over your boat once again, but we'll see what you do in Heat number 2.
Okay, thanks a lot.
All right.
All
Back to you
right,
guys.
the 35 of Mark Schmierbach, your winner from qualifying Heat number 1. And boy, that is a scary guy to give qualifying Heat 1 winner points to. He's a tough competitor. He's good at running through the field, Tim. And he ran that thing wire to wire. Same with the 24 of Addie Love, winning the Talent Cup there. And now we've got the tri-hulls back out on the water, turn this thing into a giant bathtub once again.
No, the tri-hull guys are coming back out. We've got a heck of a starting order, because you look at the starting order, it kind of reminds me of that third heat in Shreveport, where Gerald is up front. And he went wire to wire with that number 13 for his first heat win.
Would you say, as you grow your skill set in powerboat racing, it's like the first thing you got to learn is, when you get out front, it's a little easier to drive everybody around than it is to get around somebody. So it was good to see the progression that Gerald's made. The question is can he do it again? Because there's a lot of faster boats that are right behind him. You look, Briston Sherman, Aaron Green there in row 2. It's going to be a tough heat number 2, especially for those guys that finished in the top in heat number 1, because it's going to get so rough so quickly. There's going to be so little clean water to make any ground on the straightaways.
Any other class, I'd say it means more to be out front. But the tri-hulls, everything gets so rough. On them, it's more of a fact of who's in front of you in the corner than it is how rough it is down the straightaway. So what I mean by that is if you're up front, you can pick your line going through the corner.
Right.
And that's the thing that really slows you down. You take a guy like number 37, Mason Rinker. He makes all his time up going into the corner. So Mason just holds it on and has a lot faster corner entry than most of the other drivers out there. But if he gets somebody that parks it in front of him, that takes away his advantage.
Right, and he ends up getting his boat submerged by the 4 other tri-hulls that end up stacked up on top of him, and they've got to drain that thing out before the final, like what happened at the Red River Rumble a couple of weeks ago in Shreveport. And so, yeah, it's all about the corners in tri-hull. It's how you get in of them, how you get out of them, how you navigate that game of cat and mouse. We saw in opening heat number 1, 54, Darren Ware caddy Had a heck of a run there. Second to last lap pass over the 93 of J.B. Jensen. And, of course, what that's going to do, that's going to shuffle him all the way to the back. And, you know, the one driver I don't see here is the 03 of Austin Terry not being able to make it out on the water here for the tri-hull class. Was surprised. I thought I was going to see them here today. But, boy, you got one boat down. Now it sounds like both of the Terrys aren't going to be on the water here this weekend, or at least today, as the 03 of Austin Terry is another DNS in qualifying heat number 2. Well, Tim, let's take a look at the rest of the afternoon. We've got the final qualifying heat here in Texas Tri-Hull is on the water right now, and we still have remaining qualifying heats in Formula Lights, Formula One, and the Talent Cup. So we take a look at our schedule here. All right, so we are right now here in Tri-Hull, heat number 2. So we've just got 2 more heats left. Sorry, we're only doing 1 Talent Cup heat today. So we've got the Tri-Hull heat 2, then we bring the Formula Lights out, and then it's the Formula Ones to wrap up the day. And, you know, here's something while we've got some time. For those of you here locally in Marble Falls, near the ticketing entrance, you may have seen a giant QR code. We got a raffle going on here at the Battle on the Colorado for a ride with none other than you, Tim Siebold. We're giving away 2 two-seater rides. It's a $10 raffle ticket for the chance for a once-in-a-lifetime experience that I can tell you from personal experience is as unique as anything you will ever do in your life, period. $10 a ticket at the main gate here in Marble Falls. They're giving away 2 rides tomorrow at 11:30, right before the opening ceremonies. Tim, it's got to be fun when you stick somebody next to you in that Formula One 2-seater cockpit and just the terrified joy, just the myriad of emotions they experience in a very short period of time.
Well, I mean, terrified is not a good word. I think surprise is really, because, you know, I took Bruce for a ride yesterday from VP Racing Fuels, and he is well versed in motorsports, and he's like, I can't believe how this feels, because it's almost like a helicopter type feeling when you're going down the straightaway. It doesn't track exactly straight like your car. You know, you've got the wind, you've got the water, and none of it is stable. So it's different every single lap. Now, put on top of that, you're trying to fly the boat as much as you're driving the boat. That throws something else in there. Now throw 15 of your buddies out there at the same time in 200-foot rooster tails. Now you got another aspect to it that makes it different.
Yeah, but go up near, we can see there's the big IHRA blow-up logo there. Don't forget, swing by, see Debbie, our head of merchandise. And she's got all the IHRA merchandise your heart could ever want. We've got hats, hoodies, T-shirts, kid sizes, women's shirts. Really runs the gauntlet.
Official event shirt is up there, too.
We got the Battle on the Colorado as well, absolutely. Yep. And don't forget, grab a Sharpie, find the guys later. They'll love to fill up your Battle on the Colorado T-shirt with their John Hancocks. But yeah, that $10 gets you a raffle ticket. The winners will be selected, be notified via phone and email tomorrow or tonight. But today during racing, make your way back to the ticket area and get yourself your raffle ticket for the chance to win a 2-seater ride in the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series 2-seater race ride experience with multi-time, multi-decade award-winning Formula One driver and my co-host, Mr. Tim Siebold, behind the wheel of that Formula One machine tomorrow right before opening ceremony. So swing up to the hill, get yourself a raffle ticket. Make sure you get that QR code, register, pay your $10 for the raffle ticket, and you might just be in the cockpit of the Formula One race ride experience here in round 4 of the IHRA Formula One series.
Guys, we got the last couple guys coming out in the tri-hull division. So as soon as we get these last couple guys out, here's our pole setter right here, Captain Marks.
There we go, 13 of Gerald Shelton.
Boy, he was so excited after he won that first heat.
Yeah, he was.
2 weeks ago.
And he was sore, right? And that's what I'm curious is, this seawall makes it so much rougher out here. Can Gerald hang on? This is going to be a little bit different. The Red River was quite tame for us. Absolutely I mean, perfect as you could get in the Red River, and it was still rough. No seawalls.
Yeah, what rough for us because we're watching it.
Yeah, exactly. It was rough. I mean, I get sore just watching them race out there.
Hurts my back watching.
Oh, it's terrible. All right, as they're going to bring them down the back straightaway, he's going to lead them all the way down to the east end of the course, down around turns 3 and 4, and then we're going to get ready to roll.
Man, they're just when they're barely on plane like that, it just makes it so rough.
The wake is absolutely enormous, and now they're gonna, and that's the best part is they plow those wakes on the backstretch, and those wakes come rolling right across the front stretch as soon as they're dropping the green flag for the race here.
Oh yeah.
In this inverted field again. We call it flipping the script. First goes to worst, worst goes to first. So the winner from qualifying heat number 1, which was the 54 of Darren Ware, now finds himself on the inside of row 7. Your pole sitter on the inside of row 1, that's the 13 of Gerald Shelton. And on the outside of row 1, that's the 88 of Josh Wells and that Heavy Hands racing machine. Then on the inside of row 2, the 26 of Briston Sherman, running for Ray Bob Seasoning. On the outside, the Rise Fitness, number 63 of Aaron Green. On the inside there of row 3, it's the 33 of John Ottinger. Then it's the 56 and that KD Racing, 56 of Clint Dillard on the outside of row 3. Inside of row 2, it's the 42 of Wyatt Zeller, Pigpen Barbecue sponsor here this weekend. And then the outside of row 4, the 37 of Mason Rinker. Then it's the 17 of Neil Marsh. Oh, he drops the green flag. Oh, they give a lot more run.
More room. Uh-oh, a couple. Who's it that banging right off the bat? Josh Wells and Gerald, number 13.
And Wells
Briston coming up the inside in number 26.
Oh, nice move there by the 26 of Briston Sherman. He just pushed them all wide, just ran right
they're
across
all on
their
top
wings.
of each other. Aaron Green took the blunt of the blow there.
Which is not good because he's already got duct tape holding that boat together from an incident in Shreveport with the 56 of Clint Dillard.
Take a look at it. Did he lose his engine cover?
Oh, he might have. That's a common occurrence here in Texas Tri-Hall. I was talking to John Schubert. I was like, hey, why don't you guys make light carbon covers on the Texas Tri-Hall? He goes, why? They would destroy him in one heat race.
Josh Wells
wouldn't exist.
Looking good out front, though, isn't he, Tommy?
Yeah, he is. He's just trying to find some clean water. Now Briston Sherman's got a rearview mirror full of that bright yellow 37. And then it's the 56 of Dillard, and here comes the 17 of Neil Marsh. Oh no, we lost turn number 1 is the 93 of JB Jensen. The 42 of Wyatt Zeller get tied up with one another down on the west end of the course. They finally break free. But the question is did that buoy get knocked loose? And it looks like the 63 of Aaron Green.
He still got it.
Still got it on there, but boy, that motor sounds a little sick here in heat number 2 as he's way off the pace as they're all trying to catch the 88 of Josh Wells, who's out in front.
The Iceman, number 37, Mason Rinker, moving up to second. But I don't think Briston's giving up the fight.
No. He may like Formula Lights, but that doesn't mean he doesn't want to bring an Outlaw F1 Tri-Hull Championship back home to Rosenberg, Texas, as they go down the back straightaway, down from turn 1 into turn number 2. It's 88 of Wells, followed by the 37 of Rinker. Then again, Briston Sherman, but Sherman goes wide to the outside. We got to move by the 17 of Neil Marsh. He ducks it down to the inside, down to the east end of the course here. Can he make a move as they come out head towards the start-finish line?
I'll tell you, who has not made much headway is number 69, Cole Wary.
Yeah, he is really pinned back there, but that can happen sometimes. You can be the fastest boat. And as we say that, the 17 of Neil Marsh makes a nice inside move, and he's already up into third position. But the 37 of Mason Rinker is now making a run down the back straightaway on the 88 of Josh Wells. 37 of Rinker on the inside, the 88 of Wells on the outside. Boy, I think he's going to outrun him to the corner, Tim.
Josh Wells took a couple big hops on the back straightaway, and Mason kept it in the water, number 37, and drove right by him.
And notice he went way wide off of that far east end turn, out of turn number 2 to really get some speed up. Boy, he's completely launching that thing out of the water. And the 88 of Wells is trying to hang on, but he's going to look now, and here comes Neil Marsh, barrel it down, trying to move himself up one more spot in this 7-lap qualifying heat number 2 here at Tri-Hall.
Neil looks a little more comfortable this weekend than he did in the final, where he made some mistakes in Shreveport, which is unusual.
Yeah, and he had some damage from the previous race that started to come apart in Shreveport, so he was doing a lot more managing, just trying to hold the boat together. That boat got completely repaired, And well, no, looks like we got a boat down on the course. Boat down on the course. Where are they? Oh no, looks like that. Is that Clint Dillard?
Can't tell.
Or is that Cole Waring down there?
That's who I think it is. No, here's Cole Waring right here.
Waring. Him and 54 Darren Ware just beating each other up coming down the front straight. There's the 17 of Neil Marsh. Now he's up into second position. His boy Wells is really starting to fall off the pace. He's already been shuffled back down to fifth. But there's Neil Marsh trying to catch the 37 of Mason Rinker, the man sitting out in front of that bright yellow McLean trailer. Mastercraft sponsored.
That must be Clint Dillard.
Oh no, it's Clint Dillard. Bummer.
I think so.
He said he was having some steering issues, completely redid the steering on that thing for this weekend. Maybe something didn't go exactly the way he wanted to, locked up on him again. But he's dead down there. And the white flag is out. Go fast, turn left just 2 more times for the 37 of Mason Rinker. Boy, you know, Mason's always seems to be there. He's been there all season long. And Cole Waring knows, man, he's out first. I'm way back in like 6th or 7th. It's going to be a knockdown drag out for heat number 3. As our leader, the 37 of Mason Rinker, now comes it out off of the turn, final turn of the race as he comes down the front straightaway.
Looks like Mason's got a good setup for this weekend. Oh.
Yeah, well, as good as you can in this kind of water, ladies and gentlemen. Taking qualifying heat number 2 in Tri-Hall, number 37, Mason Rinker.
Good run by Neil.
And a third place finish there by Briston Sherman to round out the podium. Way to hang on for some solid points for that Ray Bobs. And then in fourth, the 33 of Ottinger. Then it's the 54 of Ware, the 69 of Waring, the 88 of Wells. Man, Wells shuffled all the way back to like 8th position. And then rounding out the 63 of Green, the 93 of JB West and JB Jensen, and the 42 of Wyatt Zeller. And then finally, the 13 of Gerald Shelton. I was concerned that the bathtub qualities of the Colorado River for Tri-Hall might have been a tall order for Gerald, and he got pinned in early, and that's a big motor, heavy motor on the back of a boat that was probably moving all over the place out there on the Colorado River.
Well, when it gets that rough, you saw like Briston, same thing, and then number 26, he got shuffled to the outside, and then all of a sudden there's a freight train of guys coming on the inside. He could never get over.
Right.
So he got shuffled so far back, and there wasn't nothing he could do about it.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's almost like when you see those draft packs in NASCAR where the guy that's leading the pack seems like he just gets in the wrong spot and they just leave him standing still. Same thing happening here in trials in the rough waters. That is everybody except for the KLD Racing 56 of Clint Dillard as he goes dead in the water down there at turn number 2 down on the east end of the course and had to call it quits early. But boy,
that water's still rough.
The race is over and it's still brutal out there. As we're going to take a recap of our Tri-Hall qualifying heat number 2 here at round 4 of the IHRA F1 Powerboat Series. Boy, Tim, it got rough early. The 13 of Shelton started out front, but he didn't stay out there long. He got pinned. He got shoved way to the outside. Then it was Josh Wells for a while. And boy, he was looking really good there for a minute, but the rougher it got, it seemed like he just couldn't hang on.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. You know, he looked good, and then the water got rougher and rougher and rougher, and all of a sudden, the number 88, he couldn't hang.
And then the 37 of Mason Rinker, comes in hot to the corners, like you had said pre-race, and he used that to advantage because he ran that thing wide open all the way to the corner. And once he got there, he finally set it in, and that really solidified that move over the 88 of Josh Wells. And then Wells just kept falling back after he got out of that groove. But Rinker, he went in cruise control from there on out.
Now he's got that thing dialed in, and but
look at how
he was
much
still all over the place on that last lap on the front straightaway.
I swear, the 4-stroke motors at times, when we get into this real bathtubby type water, I swear that they're going to go a little sideways and that thing's going to snap clean off, much like happened to his brother Tanner Rinker in round 3 in Shreveport. But it's a great run by the 37 of Mason Rinker. Solid run there for Neil Marsh. He really needed some good points there for a second place finish in qualifying heat number 2. Briston Sherman getting off the schneid and finding his way back up onto the podium here in qualifying heat number 2, followed by the 33 of John Ottinger in that John Deere green machine. Then it's the man they call Caddy, number 54 of Darren Ware coming in 5th. 69 of Cole Waring can only muster a 6th place finish. That is surprising. Then it's the 88 of Josh Wells, the 93 of JB Jensen, the 42 of Wyatt Zeller, the 13 of Gerald Shelton round out the top 10. And you know who I didn't see out there, Tim? Where was the 10 of Tanner Rinker for qualifying heat number 2? There's so much action going on. I didn't even see him out there. And it looks like he was a DNS for the 10 of Tanner Rinker. Boy, it's been a rough and wild 2026 for the young driver, the younger driver of the brothers Rinker here in Tri-Hall. And he doesn't even start here, but boy, the standings, you could throw him in a hat right now. And I think there's probably 8 or 9 guys that could win the final, just depending on how that opening lap goes.
Tanner didn't get going. His bad luck continues. Man, here's the thing. When he runs, he's fast.
Yes.
He can win any race at any time.
He just has to start the race and have his motor finish the race in place.
And not break off.
Let me see. There's
for a lack of technical terms.
Yes.
Just don't break off.
Yeah, I mean, it's been twice already in 3 rounds so far coming into this weekend, and it was different. First in Bradenton, the whole mounting bracket peeled itself off the fiberglass hull, and then in Shreveport 2 weeks ago at the Red River Rumble over Memorial Day weekend, the repairs they made to the boat, rock solid. Nope, just tore 2 giant thick chunks of metal and sheared it in half, ripping the bracket in half right off the back of the motor. Good Lord, they got great cables on those Mercury Pro XS, huh?
That just shows you the abuse that they're doing. You know, I mean, the average boater doesn't take the abuse of one tri-hull hit the entire life of that pleasure boat.
Right. And that's not even from the hits from other drivers. That's just the hit from
that's
the
if
waves.
they don't hit each other.
The abuse that the boats take just from the waves that get churned up from these tri-hulls running 60 miles an hour here on the Colorado River. Well, all right, well, we're going to be right back with more racing here after a word from our sponsors at round 4 on the IHRA Series.
Race fans have a home on Speed Sport 1. Feel the roar of IHRA Outlaw Nitro Series. Experience the power of American muscle with the Trans Am Series presented by Pirelli. Speed Sport 1 has a wide variety of motorsports competition that will satisfy your inner racer. From IMCA dirt track action to Ferrari Challenge North America. Speed Sport 1 is 24/7. Go to speedsport1.com for details and viewing options. The wait is finally over. The IHRA Stock Car Series is here, and it's on Speed Sport 1. This is what stock car racing is all about.
The International Hot Rod Association is going stock car racing.
There's big money on the line, and racers willing to push the limits for a piece of the pie.
Leaning on each other as we cross the start-finish line, head down into turn number 1.
Watch the entire season on Speed Sport 1. It's free to watch. Go to speedsport1.com for details and viewing options. Speed Sport 1 is the home for the IHRA Offshore Powerboat Series. Watch top international teams push the limits of some of the fastest boats in the world, reaching speeds of up to 180 miles per hour. 14 classes, racing hull to hull, from Pro Class 1 to Super Cat. It's the IHRA Offshore Powerboat Series. Catch the entire season on Speed Sport 1. It's free to watch. Go to speedsport1.com for details and viewing options.
Round 4 of the 2026 IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series, the Battle on the Colorado, brought to you by the Marble Falls Area Chamber of Commerce. It's your business, it's your chamber, it's our community. Firefly Aerospace, launch, land, operate in space, anywhere, anytime. The city of Marble Falls, Texas, in the middle of everywhere. United Rentals, work united. By Broadband, your hometown connection, and internet you can trust. Mission Golf Cars, the family-owned one-stop shop. Value Bank, my values, my bank. All right, welcome back, race fans. Here to round 4 of the 2026 season here. It's the battle on the Colorado, Marble Falls, Texas. What a beautiful day it's been. Boy, Tim, it seems like Mother Nature loves the IHRA Formula One Series here. This is a second race in a row where all week leading up to the race weekend, 70-80% chance of rain, thunderstorms, lightning, which, hey, we'll run in rain. Lightning, not so much. And then Mother Nature's like, just kidding. And the day, 2 days before the race, the weather turns, and this is the second race in a row. Well, realistically, every race so far this season, we've had absolutely beautiful weather. I mean, who doesn't like 78 to 80 degrees in Southeast Texas in May? Shreveport, normally mid-90s over Memorial Day weekend, low 80s, crowds were huge. You could tell everybody in Shreveport was loving how nice the weather is. And then we come here to a place where, you know, these next 3 months are, you know, 90s to triple digits on a very regular basis. And here we are with a nice 15-mile-an-hour breeze and a beautiful day of racing.
Well, that is one thing for sure is the fact that the organization moved the race up, the race committee. You know, we work closely with the Marble Falls Area Chamber, and they're fantastic to work with. We've got some great partners locally here, and moving it up to the beginning of June versus the August date that we had last year. Wow, and now we got a little bit of a breeze, so this is about as perfect as we're going to get.
Yeah, on behalf of all the fans, we all thank you very much, because last year it was a great race site, but as a guy from Minnesota, you hit 95 by like 11 o'clock in the morning, and I don't really know what to do with myself at that point. I'm just hanging on for dear life, as everybody was last year, because those cockpits get hot. It's all carbon fiber, right? Very dark.
Enclosed,
no wind. One of these days, I'm waiting for a driver to get one of those little battery-operated fans and just mount it on the dash while they wait in between heats just to cool them off a little bit, because I can imagine, Jim, and you can attest to this, it can get brutally hot inside the cockpit.
Some of those guys put a fan in their cockpit, drawing air in from the outside, but you know, some guys don't want the weight either.
Right.
So it's a give and take. Do you want to be overly comfortable, or do you need to cut weight?
I mean, it is a race boat, right? Race boats, in my mind, aren't made for comfort.
That's right.
All right, and again, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, we've got those $10 raffle tickets right by the main entrance here on the grounds of the Marble Falls race here for round 4. There's a big QR code. Take a picture with your phone. It'll give you a link. Tap that link. Open it up. Fill it out. Pay $10, and you might have, well, you will have, and you could get the opportunity to run in our 2-seater race ride experience. It is, and this is from personal experience, this is an experience that is second to none. There is nothing like this in the world. I liken it to things like skydiving, bungee jumping. I mean, full adrenaline, excitement, but at the same time, the technical prowess that it takes, and you get to be a part of that, is so much fun to see, because, you know, they see the drivers on the outside, but there's a lot of things going on with your hands and your feet inside that cockpit, Tim, when you're running a Formula One boat, and they get to experience that as a part of that race ride experience. So make sure you get those up at the front gate. I think you're going to have a lot of fun tomorrow, aren't you, Tim?
Oh, it's always a good time to give a new experience to somebody in a Formula One boat.
I mean,
they're so excited, they don't know, and the biggest surprise to them all is the fact that the lateral G's, you know, you get the side G's, which, you know, you take off in a plane, it's, you know, front to back. So it's just a lot different experience.
Yeah, I mean, we even see G's more experienced now with these electric cars, and but forward G's and side G's are a very different thing.
Oh yeah.
The pressure on the body, the way your body feels that force hitting you when you're turning 90 degrees is much more noticeable. the human body.
Closest thing I ever felt to that was in a Pitts stunt biplane.
Oh, you got to go into one.
Yeah.
So you were in that like other seat. Just
I was
locked
in the other
went for a ride?
seat. Yeah, and it is an experience, but that's the closest thing that you can feel to the side G's with that.
Gotcha.
But,
Yeah, we see there our IHRA rescue guys, Caleb McCumber and the guys out on the JH Performance shallow water bay boats built with the highest quality materials out there. Second and none, best in the business. You know, they haven't had to do much work today. Let's hope they don't have to do a whole lot more. We like it when they don't have to do much work. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
My head's as hard as a solid piece of oak, so I just knock on that. And we got the Formula Lights coming back out. Reverse order of Heat 1 finish. We saw some penalties. We saw some accidents. Will the 69 of Jared Wallach be back? How is the 21 of Mendana going to handle getting that one-lap penalty for the lane violation? Dumford's probably going to chalk it up to a rookie mistake. He's not technically a rookie, but he's still really early on in his career.
No, he's had enough starts, and he'll be disappointed with himself on it.
But Mendana, I think that's the guy you got to watch out for because he's going to drive like a maniac, especially if he gets out in front because he knows if I can do it here in 2 and then try to do it again in 3, if it comes down to a lapse time, I've got to make sure I pull away from him. And I know he's a guy that he understands the complexity that goes through how the points are set up and how everything works out. And, he's right up there starting in the top 5 in heat number 2. The question is will the 69 of Wallach be on the water? I don't see him yet.
I don't see him yet, but we're still waiting for some of the boats to come out.
Yeah,
so we'll see on that.
A little different than a lot of our races. They have kind of a leisurely stroll from the boat ramp out through this unique kind of man-made river area they've built through the middle of the park here in Marble Falls. No wake zone, so they kind of slowly make their way out. And there's the 01 of Jake McKee. So
he's going to be there.
Oh, definitely.
That's for sure.
And you look at the rest of the race there. Backbone Creek that runs right there into the Colorado rivers where the guys, so they can drop off in the boat, get in the water at the boat ramp there in Backbone Creek. All right, well, we're going to take a quick break from with our commercial sponsors. We'll be right back with more racing action and the conclusion of Formula Lights qualifying here on Saturday at round 4 of the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series here at the Battle on the Colorado. Round 4 of the 2026 IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series, the Battle on the Colorado, brought to you by the Marble Falls Area Chamber of Commerce. It's your business, it's your chamber, it's our community. Firefly Aerospace. Launch, land, operate in space, anywhere, anytime. The city of Marble Falls, Texas, in the middle of everywhere. United Rentals. Work united. Vive Broadband, your hometown connection, and internet you can trust. Mission Golf Cars, the family-owned one-stop shop. Value Bank, my values, my bank. All right, and welcome back, race fans, here to round 4 of the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series. As we get ready for the final qualifying heat in Formula Lights, we actually had our pit reporter, Pam, was able to jump into the race ride experience yesterday with none other than Tim Siebold. Let's take a look what that experience is like, Tim. That had to have been super fun for you and Pam to go out there and rip around in the 2-seater.
Oh, it was great. She is well versed in all types of motorsports, but she's like, I should have brought my own helmet. I'm like, well, we'll make it work. So it was fun because it was a totally different experience than what she's ever had, and she's like, I did not realize that a boat could handle like this.
Right, and she was telling me she was surprised at how calm, how much talking you did, and she was like, it just seemed like it was a Tuesday afternoon. He was just driving through traffic. I'm like, well, Pam, you have to understand that's like 50 years of experience behind the wheel there. So if it seems that way, that's only because you know, he's been racing these types of boats longer than, you know, you and I even knew what a race boat really was to a certain extent. All right, well, we're going to take a look at that piece.
A lot of fun, though.
Coming up here is Pam, our pit reporter, takes a ride with none other than Tim Siebold. Let's take a look.
Thanks, guys. I'm down here right now on the riverside getting ready to get in with the two-seat of Tim Siebold. I'm super stoked for it, the opportunity here to come out here with the F1 Powerboats Championship. To get to go for a ride in one of the boats is going to be awesome, so I cannot wait. Okay, Tim, we're getting ready to go for a ride in your two-seater, but I wanted you to talk to me a little bit about it because obviously this is not one of the race boats. This is an F1 boat, but not one of the race boats. This is a two-seater. So can you tell me what the difference is between the race boat and then your two-seater that we're getting ready to go out in?
Yeah, the primary difference of the IHRA F1 race ride experience boat is the fact that it's for two. So it's got to be built so it can carry the weight of two adults. So on the typical Formula One boat, single-seater, only the pilot, driver sits in it. So the two-seater has a little bit wider tunnel, it's got a little bit wider running pads, and it's got the awesome Mercury Apex 360 on it.
Okay, and I want to talk about this as well, too, because we were talking earlier and you were telling me how whenever you're in that boat, you're pedal down for the most part. Everything is done by the trim and the steering. So let's tell the audience at home that doesn't know about how these boats work.
Well, there's no brakes, first of all. So they're direct drive, there's no neutral. So when you start them, you're moving forward. And the cool thing about these is you use the trim in order to scrub off speed, and that's why you wet more of the running surface as you're coming into the corners. But when the water conditions are good, just like they will be today, then you just leave your foot to the floor and you use the trim to come in and out of the corners.
And also you were saying the less the boat in the water, correct? I mean, you have just the backside of the boat, the propeller, and basically the backside of the boat in the water, and that's how you make it go faster, correct?
That's right. So on a Formula One boat, the propeller is your tire compound, your suspension, and your transmission all built into one thing. And they're all hand done. You can have them duplicated, but they never quite are exact. So it's a fine art, and that really is how you get the feel of the boat.
Well, Tim, all this talking about it, I'm super stoked to go for a ride, so let's go get on it.
All right, let's roll.
Of a lifetime. My adrenaline is still pumping. I cannot believe how this boat handles in the turns. We did not bobble at all. I mean, between the trim that he's doing and the steering, an amazing experience, something I'll always remember. But right now, let's go back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Pam. Well, Tim, that had to be a fun experience. It looks like Pam was having a whole lot of a good time there in the cockpit with some of that onboard footage, and you just looked like you were out for a Sunday afternoon stroll.
Oh, that was a lot of fun, and man, what a great piece that our buddies at Windy City put together. I mean, those guys did a fantastic
Steve,
job.
Fernando, Joe, all the guys
Everybody,
from Windy City.
man,
they're top-notch.
Fantastic.
They're handling all the IHRA productions throughout all disciplines, whether it's drag, circle, tractor pull, drag boat, offshore, personal watercraft. They cover it all, and they've got a wealth of experience. Their leader, Steve, ran MAV TV for about a decade, so they know what they're doing when it comes to motorsports, that's for sure. And so does the IHRA. A big offseason in 2025, the IHRA acquiring multiple series, including the Formula One series here, and it's been an unbelievable start to 2026, where we've seen production values up, we've seen sponsors rolling in with interest to come on board with the IHRA, and just the continued growth of the Formula One Powerboat series from, think back to 2017. Doesn't seem like that long ago that you and John Schubert kicked this whole thing up, but man, how far it has come since those early days of doing a live stream in a clear tent in Nashville, Tennessee, where it's 98 degrees, and having to go run to Walmart and get extra air conditioners for the production trailer to keep everything running. It seems like that was so long ago yet, but at the same time, like it was just yesterday.
It sure is. We've learned a lot along the way, and we as a team have brought significant improvements for the racing, including the timing system. and we're always trying to progress. Look, we want to be better. We want to be safer. We want to be more professional, and that's how we're going about it. It is great to be part of the IHRA umbrella, and it gives us a lot of tools to be able to grow the sport of powerboat racing.
Yeah, it does. So I did get word, does not look like the 69 of Jared Wallach is going to make qualifying heat number 2. Sounds like there must be some damage there. So your pole sitter here in heat 1 going to be that Ace Hardware number 12 of Jack Schubert. He's going to start on pole in this reverse order of points for qualifying heat 2. And then Travis Thompson, he's going to start second off the start pontoon. Then number 2 with the Texas red, white, and blue on the side as he comes second off the start dock, followed by the 52 of Addison Dumford in third. Fourth off the start pontoon, he got penalized the lap for not following the 2x2 rolling restart procedures. He now is going to come fourth off the dock, the Tampa Terror, running for Mike Scott Plum and the number 21 of Jose Mendana there in fourth.
Well, that hurts him on the last race, but it helps him in this race because now all of a sudden he's going to start in front of his
now he just knows that, you know, if I'm going to have one okay heat or the worst heat of my weekend, it's going to have to be heat 1. So he's going to have to run it like he stole it the rest of the qualifying here in Formula Lights. Right behind him, coming fifth off the start pontoon, that's the 82 Q&M Watersports of Colby Crook. Then it's the 60th Brandon Bobolic, the 93 of Briston Sherman.
Briston's a surprise.
Yeah, and then absolutely, I think that boat is fast, right?
It is.
Where he's going
Grand
to
Prix.
struggle is just his lack of experience in and out of the corners. Then rounding out the field, the 24 of Shelby Love, and then the 01 of Jake McKee. And then we've got our rookies, the 6 of Carissa Saddles, going to round out the field. And then, there's the 35 of Mark Schneerbach.
You're forgetting one small piece. The guy that won the first heat.
Yeah, he's coming second to last off the start pontoon here in qualifying heat number 2. And it's going to be fun. You're going to see McKee, Schmierbach, Love have to run through the field. And to be honest, if I'm one of those drivers, I'm like, no. Don't give Mendana a penalty. Keep him back here with me. At least then he's close and I can chase him down and I can hunt with him. Because, boy, if he jumps off the dock like we know he can and can find that clean water, I mean, Mendana will leave him in his dust. If he has, all you need is just one little tiny opportunity.
He gets out front.
It's see you later.
But he struggled on starts, though, this year.
He has.
He has been fast. He's fast at the end of the race. When he doesn't have a fuel load, he has struggled getting off the beach. I think I've seen one heat this year where he ripped off the dock and got in the lead.
Yeah, it has been a tricky one, which is weird for him because normally that's been an area that he has done excelled. But the older wood pew designs that he ran for so many years and these new Formula One Hoffman or Formula Light Hoffman composites, they sit higher in the water. They have a much flatter attitude. They have a much higher cornering speed. Clearly that different setup doesn't lend itself to the same way he used to start in his older design.
No, different animal.
Completely different animal. And we're going to see if he tame that animal here in qualifying heat number 2 and finally get that start he's been looking for here in Formula Lights.
I'm curious to see if the number 12 of Jack Schubert in that Ace Hardware, I hope he got his gremlins fixed. He's been struggling the last couple races.
Yeah.
Beginning of the year, he was extremely fast. In Bradenton,
looked great.
He was extremely fast, but he was having to start at the end because he was the rookie. Now he can start with everybody else, and he's had some technical issues. So
always something, isn't it?
They'll keep working on it. You know, they got a good team. He's got a good team around him. So let's hope that old number 12 comes roaring off the dock.
Absolutely. We've got them all lined up here. We're just waiting for Chief Referee Doug Ray to give us the word that they are all in a good starting position and we can get under starting orders here. So we're coming up shortly on our 1 minute gun to get qualifying heat number 2, the final qualifying heat for Formula Lights, and our penultimate qualifying heat on Saturday's qualifying here in round 4, the battle on the Colorado. Coming up on the 1 minute gun. 1 minute drivers, 1 minute. Can the 12 of Jack Schubert in that Plantation Ace Hardware machine get off the schneid and find his way to the clean water here in qualifying heat number 2? 50 seconds, drivers, 50 seconds. Can the 2 of Travis Thompson knock the rust off and find a way to win qualifying heat number 2, securing valuable points for the man out of Humboldt, Texas? 40 seconds, drivers, 40 seconds. Or will it be the likes of Addison Dumford or the 21 of Jose Mendana, who also finds himself here near the top in heat number 2 after a penalty in heat 1. 30 seconds, drivers, 30 seconds. Or will we see the likes of Schmierbach, Love, McKee, and the rest of the top drivers here run it from the back of the pack? Let's see who's going to win qualifying heat number 2. 20 seconds, drivers, you're under starters orders. The flag is up. He drops the flag. Let's see who's going to come out. Oh, Mendana does get a solid jump of those top 4. They go running down inside the gate, inside gate. Schmierbach way out there on the outside. The 93 of Sherman gets a cracker start on the outside. He's deck to deck with Bodovalik. But boy, Tim, looks like they might have pulled a different prop out. The 21 of Mendana got that jump he's been looking for.
Spin out.
It looks like, was that the 35? No, that's the 93 of Sherman down there,
and who else?
With the 35 of Schmierbach. And it looks like the 12 of Schubert might have gotten caught up in there as well as they run down the front straight. The question is, are they inside the course? Are we going to see? Oh, it looks like 93 of Briston Sherman spun out in the corner. We're going to red flag on the course. Second heat race in a row. We can't even make the opening lap. It sounds like that inexperience on the 93 of Sherman. He had a cracker start. Schmierbach was bearing down on him.
I couldn't see what happened.
He just spun out down there. He just spun out, and I think either when he spun out, he got into the 35 of Mark Schmierbach, or Schmierbach had to course correct so hard when the 93 of Sherman spun out, he had to try to avoid, get out of the way, and that killed the power on his number 35 Pizza Inn machine as well. Sherman, though, looks like okay. Now, probably a little perturbed with himself, a little annoyed, a little frustrated after spin out, because, I mean, he was moving in a straight line. But, you know, races here on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series are won in the corners, and he didn't win that one here. Here we go.
Let's see what we got here.
So you watch, here's Mendana.
Oh, wow.
Now look at Schmierbach come bearing down, and there's the 93 of Sherman. So everybody is squeezing all the way down to that one turn.
Look. Him and Jack got there at the same time. It looked like they tapped.
Oh, no, that's Schmierbach there. Coming
that's
from the
Schmierbach
outside.
on the outside.
Sorry, the Schubert on the inside there. Can we maybe rewind that back, take one more look at it? Boy, what a great graphic of how they all just kind of pinch together. Everybody's trying to find the right line. Looks like the 35 of Schmierbach is okay. The boat's still floating, but boy, he has been in it twice in 2 heats. The 35 of Schmierbach's got to feel like, man, maybe luck is not on his side here this weekend, Tim, as they're going to take a look at the 93 of Briston Sherman. Looks like he's okay. It's amazing that we've had 2 wrecks and very limited damage between the 3 boats that have been involved. Good. And Schubert got out of the way. Sherman looks okay. The 35 of Schmierbach looks okay. The question is are there going to be any penalties assessed? Is there any fault there? You know, Schmierbach was pinching down, but it looked like he may have had overlap on the 93 of Briston Sherman, and Sherman just didn't back off in time before the 35 of Schmierbach kind of tried to turn closer to the pin, where there were so many of them there that all got there at the same time, Tim.
Well, it's always, that's why you have a 2-flag start. But when we do that, it staggers them slightly, but we don't want it to where it penalizes the guys so bad. So we do it for safety, and those guys are just extremely fast at the back, and they caught up.
Right, that's exactly what happened there. I mean, you saw, Sherman, he gives the thumbs up there. That 93 Canes Firefly Aerospace machine, he's good to go. Looks like the 35 of Schmierbach, he's hanging tough there, out there on the water. He's fine, not taking on any water. So surprisingly, for the second time in 2 races, the 35 of Mark Schmierbach gets into a collision down on the southeast end of the course, down there just outside of turns 3 and 4, and causes a restart here in qualifying heat number 2, just like he did in qualifying heat number 1.
Okay, Tom, I think we're going to be able to see that replay again.
Yeah, because it was.
We're just trying to watch the whole thing, yeah. And you can only imagine doing all this in real time.
Right.
Where it is micro seconds. Here it comes. Let's see what we got.
All right, so we see Mendana enter the picture first. Then there comes Dumford and the rest of those boats that are near the top, Thompson. And then there's Schubert, who's way down there. I mean, this is Schubert way down there. Oh, it looks like Thompson maybe didn't leave Schubert much of a lane down there in between.
Oh, that was tight.
That is
yeah, it looked
real
like
tight.
they got together, but I'm watching the outside now. See how close Shelby and Briston got, and then Briston
Kind of tried to veer away to
went
get out.
wide after, whether they touched or not. It was extremely close, and that's why he got so far outside, and then him and Mark got together.
Well, and I got to say,
Chain reaction.
yeah, and I mean, heck of a reaction there by the 12 of Schubert, because we had almost two separate collisions going on simultaneously. You had the 12 and 2 on the inside there, and then the 19 and 35 and 24 out in lane 5 through that turn.
Dang.
Oh,
A
no.
lot going on in the first turns.
And look at this there, the 35 of Mark Schmierbach. He may be taking on water, Tim. Look at the listing of that
Yep.
boat. It is definitely tipped
It definitely
to one
is
side.
listing to the left side.
And now
Port
what
side.
he's going to want to do is, if he's going to try to run that thing here in Heat 2, he's going to definitely want to get it under power. There he goes. That's smart. Now he's going to
yeah,
try to
look
get
at
it.
that.
Yeah, that thing's got a ton of water
Yep.
in it. Now the question is he going to try to go for the 2x2 starter, or is he going to put it on the trailer and take a look at it, try not to do more damage than may already be done
Well,
to the left sponson on that 35?
so these boats are equipped with flapper drains on the back of the sponsons. So if water's in there, you move around, that's going to start draining. Now, it's only a 1-inch hole. So
It takes a while.
It takes a little bit. But if I'm Mark Schmierbach, what I'm doing is I'm going to continue to drive around until they start it. I'm starting the heat, so I get my points, if nothing else.
Right. Oh, no, looks like he's bringing it into Backbone Creek and back onto the trailer. So one half of the B&B Racing team and the top 2 drivers from Fast Lap qualifiers will now be out of qualifying heat number 2. I mean, you know what the old saying is, you can't finish first if you don't first finish. Frustrating, yes. I think, there's not necessarily blame anywhere there. That's a racing incident. All the drivers were going for a couple lanes. You had the squeeze between Thompson and Schubert on the inside that then bumped everybody else out. And then Love and Sherman got together, squeezed.
And then he went over, and then and Schmierbach and Sherman got together. So it was.
In a year from now, maybe Briston keeps that thing 6, 8, 12 inches to the left. But you can't necessarily, get after him, because, there was 7 boats in 4 lanes going into that first turn. And, ultimately, when you have that happen, typically somebody's going to come out on the unlucky side of a corner entrance like that. And just at that time ended up being the 35 of Schmierbach. He basically got what happened to him in Heat 2 here was what happened to Wallach. And he was on Wallach's side of this wreck, where he probably got a hole somewhere in the bottom left side of the boat. And as you know, any damage on the left significantly more impactful than any damage on the right, because these boats turn so hard to the left the overwhelming majority of the time.
So it looks like there was no penalties excess. So what we do is we always assess penalties after the heat.
Right.
So, but right now on a start like that, they would do it immediately so they can adjust the start order.
Correct, yeah.
So it's a little bit different situation.
And I mean, in the 35 of Schmierbach, even if they did give, if a penalty got assessed to Schmierbach, well, he was as far back off the start pontoon as he could have gone. So I can't go any further back.
He was starting in the back, and it's unfortunate for him and his team.
Now this is going to be interesting. What's going to happen here, because your fastest boat in those top 6. So on the inside of row 1, you're going to have the 12 of Jack Schubert. On the outside of row 1, the 2 of Travis Thompson, and that Texas red, white, and blue with a big star on the side. Then the 52 of Addison Dumford inside of row 2. 21 of Mendana outside of row 2.
That's the one to look at right there.
And then the 82 of Colby Crook and the 60 of Bobolic. I mean, in that top 6 right there, there's really only one driver that's got a wealth of experience, and that's the 21 of Mendana. So I'd like to think that he's going to be the one that's going to come out of that grouping first. But hey, you got to do it first. Let's see as they come down the front straightaway. Our jet ski Jared pulls off. Oh,
Here we go.
Quick green. He goes green flag, and they go down into turn number 1. That's going to be a drag race between Thompson on the outside.
Jack Schubert gets a good start.
Of Schubert on the inside. Yes, he does. They hold it. Oh, Schubert, he spins out down in turn 2. He got a little too excited there, Tim. He saw the 2 of Travis Thompson on his outside and just hammered it down into the entrance of turn 1 and spun out.
Unfortunately, they're coming into the wind up this front straightaway, and when he set the boat, it took everything off it and made it turn left violently.
And now look, no surprise, 21 Mendana is wide to the outside now, trying to drag race the 2 of Thompson as they come out of turn number 4. Are we going to have a new leader? Yes, we do, ladies and gentlemen. Now here comes the 01 of Jake McKee. He's up side by side with Dumford, but now the 21 of Mendana is able to get by the 2 of Thompson. And boy, and that's key, because I have a feeling that the 52 of Dumford and the 01 of McKee are going to have a much more difficult time with the getting around the 2 of Thompson, unlike Mendana, because he was able to do it so early, right? There was so much rough water from the start. They hadn't really gotten into any race lines, but Thompson's not an easy guy to get around.
You know what's happened, though? The wind's picked up. And when the wind picked up, that helped Jose, because normally he has to wait until he gets low on fuel and the boat's lighter. Now the boat's lighter because of the stronger wind.
Oh, what a move there by McKee. He goes down wide out of turn number 1, then off 2, and now he's up into second, and the hunt is on, Tim, as the young driver out of Redlands, California, running for Bill's Jerky, is got the pedal to the floor, trying to catch the man from Tampa, Florida, who's out in front right now, as the 2 of Thompson now does battle with the 52 of Dumford, just trying to hang on to a podium here in heat number 2.
Travis is running good. You know, he's had a rough go of it. Started at the end of last season, and he looks like he's got that thing running good this weekend.
Well, right here was where he had a lot of troubles. Remember, he got caught up in that big wreck with the 2 of the 60 of Brandon Bobolic, and it really changed the complexion of his 2025 season, hoping to try to get off the Schneider here 26, but him and Dumford going deck to deck, side by side, down the back straightaway as we stay overhead. Dumford's wide to the outside. Now here we got another battle between Bobolic and the 93.
And look who's coming up the inside. Shelby in the number 24.
He's doing work. Just
93, Sherman, 60, Bobolic, and they're fighting each other. And who's passing them both at the same time? The number 24, Shelby Love.
And she's got that inside line now. Oh no, the 2 of Thompson spins out in the corner. They better watch out. Everybody sees it. Oh, that's got to be frustrating for the young driver out of Humboldt, Texas, as he was running well there, hanging on to fighting for third. Spins out down in turn number 1. And then the 24 of Shelby Love now starts to put her attack on the 82 Q&M Watersports of Colby Crook, who's now your 4th place driver as Addison Dumford moves into 3rd.
Colby's running good this weekend.
Now he's got to hang on to 4th position as he sees the 24 of Shelby Love up his inside mirror, but there's the 21 of Jose Mendana Jr. He's got almost a half a straightaway lead over the 01 of Jake McKee. Boy, but you can't say enough about that kid from out of the Redlands, California. Jake is always there. He may not win every heat, but he's like, I don't have to, right? I'm in this for the long haul.
Consistency.
He knows that with this win, to try to lay down the laps he would need in this short heat to catch Mendana is probably, what's the old saying, the juice isn't worth the squeeze, right? So he's here out running his race, staying smart, and the 52 of Dumford is right on his tail, and he'd rather focus on that battle and let Mendana drive away. He got a lap penalty in heat 1. He's back there in points. So just let him run. And there's the 60 of Bobolic, who's now, again, in that same battle for 4th, 5th, and 6th between him, Sherman, and the Q&M Watersports number 82 of Colby Crook.
Oh, Jake doesn't need to worry about Jose.
No.
You know, Jose got that lap penalty in the first heat. So all Jake's got to do is still stay consistent. And he is extremely good at that for such a young age.
He is. Yeah, and I think, you know, and I was talking to his father after the running in Shreveport, and it's like, dude, he eats, sleeps, and breathes. He goes back and watches the live streams. He goes back and combs through all the data. How can I get better? And he puts all the onus on himself, that's typically what you see out of those really good drivers who are young. They put the onus on them. I got to get better. I have to learn more. and he keeps pushing, and that's where he's got himself in the position he's in. But this battle for 5th right now between Colby Crook, Brandon Bobolic, and Briston Sherman.
And they're all over each other.
Absolutely.
What a good race. And we've got 2 younger drivers.
Crook is a college, I believe a sophomore in college, plays college golf during the academic year. That's why we lost him. College golf hadn't started yet in February, so he got to come to Bradenton. Then he had to take round 2 and 3 off to run his college golf schedule. Now back here for round 4. Not a bad finish for having a couple of rounds off for the 82 of Colby Crook here, hanging out in the top 5 in qualifying heat 2.
Not at all, but he started with us as a young, really young guy.
Yeah, previous
in
to the
IHRA.
Cup. Yeah, we were running
Way
the
back
IHRAs
when.
on the series. Oh man, it's crazy to think that that is an adult human being in college now. Because I swear, yesterday he was like 11, 10.
Yeah, exactly.
They grow up quick, don't they?
Well, it's fun to see them mature, not only as men, adults, and ladies, but also in their powerboat.
Oh, absolutely.
Career.
Yeah, and we'll stay with our leader here now, the 21 of Mandania. He's on the final lap of this second qualifying heat here. We burned through the 8 minutes, and we're on that second and final lap here. He's had his hands full trying to get by the 12 of Jack Schubert, who's hung on to the lead lap. But as he comes out of turn number 4, down the front straightaway, ladies and gentlemen, taking qualifying heat number 2 here in Formula Lights. They call him the Tampa Terror. Number 21, Mr. Jose Mendana Jr.
Great run by Jose. Jake, steady.
Perfect.
Steady.
Exactly what he needed.
Steady Eddie.
Absolutely. 52 of Dumford hangs on for a 3rd place finish. Now we got this battle coming out of turn number 4. Coming off of turn 4, it looks like hanging on to 4th will be the 82 Q&M Watersports of Colby Crook. And then it's the 60 of Bobolic, the 93 of Sherman. And boy, how about the 24 of Shelby Love finishing in 8th position? Was that extra win? Did that throw her off her game a little bit, Tim? Surprising to see the 24 of Shelby Love all the way back in 8th here in qualifying heat number 2.
I got to believe that's more of a technical issue than it is the win threw her off her game and the setup. That boat's been set up too good for the last couple of years.
Yeah, it has. But that's kind of been the theme for 2026 for Shelby Love. It's just been a myriad of gremlins and issues that aren't necessarily, on the driver or at the steering wheel, but you need all of those facets to work in unison together to have a great race weekend. And here we go. Take a look at those ropes. 6-second lead by the 21 of Mendana. That could come into play later. Maybe not between him and McKee, but between him and somebody else.
Right.
But McKee, boy, what a run. Steady Eddie, man. Love
Jake's
it.
doing a great job. Addison, man, he has grown so much. This year, it's like a different driver.
And I heard he's got a new Formula Lights composite Hoffman coming for him. When he does that, boy, that could be interesting as well. But boy, what a great run it was. And Dumford's really pushing his way to Rookie of the Year here in 2026, because he is just like Jake McKee. He may not be at the same level yet, but he always seems to be in the hunt every heat, every race weekend.
Is he still a rookie, though?
I guess I don't know. He only ran half the season.
We got to check that, because he's looking like a veteran to me.
He is, and he only ran partial schedule in 2025. I don't know how many heats he's got to get under his belt before his rookie status is removed, but he definitely is one of the best young drivers on the circuit here on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series. Let's take a look at a recap of that qualifying heat number 2. It started off with a dock start, and then they all got wadded up. The 2 of Thompson, the 12 of Schubert get together, the 35 of Schmierbach, and the 93 of Sherman get together. Well, Schmierbach, Tim, he can't make it out for this rolling restart.
Oh, man, that just kills his points.
And then the 12 of Schubert goes hard into the first turn, had that taste of being out in front, Tim, and it bit him as he spun out down in turn number 1, which opened the door for the 2 of Travis Thompson.
And great drone work right there.
It was, and then, Thompson was fighting hard, but he was no match for the 21 of Mendana. He got out front early, and then the battles really were back there for that 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th position. They were all over each other after Mendana kind of walk away from it there the second half of that qualifying heat.
Yeah, you had, Colby, and then Briston, and then Brandon Babalik, number 60, and then Shelby Love, all fighting for position.
Oh. All right, and that wrapped it up. 21 Madonna went for the win, followed by the 01 McKee and the 52 of Dumford. All right, well, that's going to wrap up Formula Lights. Now we're going to send things down to Pam as she's with our Tri-Hull qualifying heat number 1 and heat 2 winners as they're mixing it up in bumper boats at 65 miles an hour. We're going to send down to Pam as she has to see what these guys have to say.
Here with Caddy Ware. Now, Caddy Ware, you are our heat race number 1 winner for the Tri-Hulls, but Caddy, you did not have an easy win for your heat race.
No, it wasn't easy. There was a guy in front of me. I was trying to catch him for like 4 or 5 laps, and I finally got him like second to last lap, and it was passed him up, and I was like, yeah.
I mean, you really have to work hard for your wins sometimes, but I mean, making your spot and making your way through, being that heat race 1, how is it feeling?
Oh, it's feeling great. It's feeling great. Just got around him, and I was like, all right, this is good.
Well, heat race number 2 didn't go so well. You were about roughly in the number 5 position, but here you are, though. Your boat's fine. You're good. You're enjoying the afternoon, and everybody else is out there finishing up their heat races. So tomorrow, any plans for tomorrow's race?
Get in there, pedal to the metal, and get her done.
All right. Well, Caddy, thank you so much for taking the interview. We're going to go over to our heat race number 2 winner. We'll see you tomorrow out on the course.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, now moving over here to Mason. Mason Rinker, you are heat race number 2 winner, but over here checking out your boat, so let's talk about that. You are the winner, which is awesome, but you have some work to do.
Yeah, we sustained some damage over there in heat 1, didn't realize it, went out there in heat 2, was able to get across the finish line, thankfully, but our motor mount is completely broke, so we got some work to do tonight, get it all fixed up, get ready to go for heat 3.
Well, so, I mean, let's talk about this, too, because you're having some issues with that motor mount breaking. So you're trying to figure out what is it that you can do that's going to make it stronger. So, I mean, it is what it is right now.
It is what it is. We've broken several of these now. I think this is the 3rd one we broke. We added 2 additional bolts, so it's 6 bolted now. Honestly, it's probably the only reason it stayed on the boat. So thankful for that. But, I don't know what we can do at this point. These boats take a beating. I'm sure you can see it out there. I feel it. My back's sore, neck's sore. There's not much that can make it through this tough water.
Well, all that matters, though, is you were that heat race number 2 winner, so congratulations on that. We'll hopefully get you all strengthened back up and see you back out there tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Feels good to be up on top. Hopefully we can keep it up for the rest of the weekend.
All right, and there we have it, Mason Rinker, heat number 2 winner right here. But right now, we'll go back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Pam. Well, boy, it is amazing, Tim. The Rinker clan has gone through thousands and thousands of dollars of motor mounts and brackets. First, it plagued the 10 of Tanner Rinker. He didn't even make heat 2. Now the 37 of Mason Rinker's got repairs that are probably taking him into the wee hours of the morning here this weekend.
Well, those guys are pushing their equipment to the limit, and this is the proving ground, right? So
Yes.
if these motors can withstand this, imagine what they'll do on your pleasure boat. They're going to work like champs.
I'm waiting for the call from Mercury where they're going to take the entire IHRA Tri-Hull and make a new Pro XS Mercury commercial to show the regular fishermen, listen, if these guys can run them for a whole season and these things are going to hang together, then you're going to be just fine. Boy, and yeah, it was a great run for both of them. Caddy, not normally a guy who's up in front there. He's been struggling throughout the season here. Again, getting the head back in the right place. Now the boat's back in the right place. Seems like he's hitting his stride here in Marble Falls.
He is. He looked great, and he drove the heck out of it, He was on the wheel, and he was trim, flying it out of the water, but that's what it took to get around JB.
And I feel that that's the exact kind of race that Caddy absolutely loves to win. Just hang it wide open.
Yeah, you want to win that time.
Absolutely. Well, right now we're going to take a look at one of our fantastic partners here on the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series, our fuel provider, the great folks at VP Fuels. Let's take a look.
I am here with Bruce Hindle from VP Racing Fuels. You're the Senior Vice President of the Global Sales. Now, Bruce, we're here in Texas at Marble Falls for the Formula 1 Powerboats Championship. And I want to talk to you about the fuel because there are a couple different fuels that these guys and gals are allowed to run. And so I want you to give us a rundown of the fuels because it's a C9 and then the MS98.
Sure. So here at this event, Actually, for this series, we have 2 fuels that are the spec fuel. For the 2-stroke engines, we have the MS98L, which offers a little higher octane than our C9, which is for the 4-stroke engines, and C9 is about a 95 octane fuel. So 2 different fuels, whether it's 4-stroke, 2-stroke.
And let's talk about this too, because performance, right? These are performance boats, they're performance engines, and you want to run the best. So VP being a part of the IHRA series, now what is it about VP that is so important to you guys for being a part of the series?
Well, obviously being part of IHRA is pretty new, as we know, right? IHRA is moving and shaking on a lot of different things right now. So we're really proud to be and happy to be a part of IHRA. They're involved in all forms of racing, and VP is involved in all forms of racing as well. So we have like 80 different fuels. You have all these different applications and all these different engines, and then you have all these different fuel rules too, right? Depending on the series. So that's how we end up with 80 different fuels. But our goal is to make the best possible performing fuel for every application possible.
And let's also talk about this too. Some fuels, they run a little hotter, some run cooler, and these are non-oxygenated fuels, if I'm correct on this, and so it runs cooler for the engine, correct?
Well, so the advantage of the non-oxygenated fuel actually is that it's much easier for the series to test the fuel on site. So you can still have an oxygenated fuel. Oxygenated fuels typically make a little bit better power, but if you have a spec fuel, it doesn't matter which one you use, you just got to pick which one you want to use, right? But the advantage of a non-oxygenated fuel, it just makes it easier for the series to test fuel on site.
Okay, and out here this weekend at Marble Falls, I mean, we're on the Colorado River, so I know there's a lot of drivers out here, guys and girls, and it's going to be a very exciting weekend, but all in all, with having all the fuel out here, you guys out here, what are you looking forward to most out here in Marble Falls, Texas?
I'm looking forward to take a ride in the 2-seater.
That's exciting, I am too.
But other than that, obviously we want to see great racing and close racing and great competition, and for us, doesn't really matter who wins. We just want to see good racing. So there you go. We're happy to be out here. We've got our activation trailer out here as well. So if anybody's coming out to the race this weekend, please stop by, say hi to us, get some information. We'll answer some questions. We've got, besides fuel, we've got small engine fuel for outdoor power equipment. We've got fuel additives, we've got diesel additives, we've got lubricants, we've got all kinds of products that a lot of people don't know about.
Well, Bruce, thank you so much for taking the time. Can't wait for you to go get in that 2-seater, and this weekend, it's going to be an awesome weekend. We have a little bit of rain, but we'll have some great racing.
Thanks, awesome. Thanks for having us. Great to be here. Thank you.
All right, well, back with a fantastic run there. Looks like you had a really fun afternoon running a couple of people for their first time in the 2-seater here, Tim, on the shores of the Colorado River.
Oh, it was a blast. You know, Bruce and I have worked together for quite a long time, and VP is a great partner for the IHRA and the Formula One series. So we want to thank them for their help in guidance. We did a lot of testing with the different fuels before we decided on which ones we were going to run. And we also had the Mercury engineers look and test the fuel, so that way we could have the best fuel for the Apex 250 as well.
Yeah, and 2 different motor packages, 2 different requirements, all taken care of by our fantastic partner, VP Racing Fuels. Well, for those here in Marble Falls, don't forget, we've got the QR code up at the main ticket entrance. You could win an opportunity to run in the 2-seater with this guy right here, Tim Siebold. $10 gets you a ticket for an opportunity to be a part of the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series race ride experience. You can also go up there and grab some of the fantastic merchandise. We've got the race shirts from this weekend for the Battle on the Colorado, as well as all the IHRA merchandise, men's, women's, children's. We got it all, whatever you need. All right, well, we've now got Heat 2 reverse order of finish from qualifying Heat number 1, Tim, up on the screen here. Starting on pole here, he struggled in Heat 1. Can he right the ship here in Heat 2, the 99, to Travis Yates on pole?
Aiden Benton from Canada slots in at number 2. You know, that's a new boat package. He is getting more used to it, so if he gets up front, he could stay.
Yeah, he was struggling with motor issues yesterday. They may have continued into Heat 1. Hopefully he got the right. But coming third off the dock, surprisingly, but this might be an advantage for him here in Heat number 2, the 13 of Grant Schubert starting third.
Jeff Reno, you know, he's very consistent in his running. He's got the mole guard, and we'll see how he can do in the second heat.
And then Andrew Tate broke the boat at round 2 in Port Neches, had to miss round 3 because of it. Back here in round 4, something still seems a little bit off. He's now starting in 5th here in this inverted field in heat number 2.
And he won the event in Bradenton.
Yeah.
Kyle Maskell, those guys have been chasing some gremlins, but it looks like they're on the right path now.
Yeah, then the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo. He's going to start 7th off the start pontoon, followed by the number 9 of Johnny Fleming, starting there in the 8th position off the start pontoon here in heat number 2.
Chris Rinker in the number 52 and the 29 of Jared Jensen battled the entire race in the first heat. Jensen comes out on top. We'll see what happens.
And then the last 2 boats going to go on that second flag. That's going to be interesting. The 24 of Spencer Love, the start specialist and points leader, coming in around 3, followed by the man who has dominated here through fast lap time trials and qualifying heat number 1. The man who won heat 1, the 17 of Dylan Anderson. He's going to have to start last off the start dock.
So if you think that the dog leg up this front straightaway had a lot to do with the finish order in the first heat, now that the wind's picked up, it's blowing straight into the direction you're heading when you're coming around that dog leg. It's even going to be more critical on this heat.
Yeah, I have a feeling that changing that angle of attack at such a high rate of speed's really got to be something. I would imagine you have to be very delicate or very specific with the movements of any adjustments you make through that dog leg.
You're exactly right, because what you're doing is you're going to be coming up the straightaway, and then you're going to try and float it around that dog leg, and then you'll be going directly into the wind. So that's going to pick the boat up, and that's not necessarily what you want to happen as you're trying to float it around that dog leg.
My brain's going back to races from years past where you've had these dog legs, and you'll see a driver, it's almost like a half barrel roll, half blowover if they get it flying too high, and it always happens as soon as they make that kink in the dog leg, the boat just takes off on them if they're not careful about where that trim is at as they go through the dog leg.
You may see a lot of guys set the boat for a second there this heat versus the first heat.
Which, when we saw the likes of Andrew Tate, Dylan Anderson did a little bit of that, and a couple other guys in the fast lap qualifiers, and that actually was, they weren't getting their best laps out of that, but now that may be the best choice out of pure necessity. All right, coming up on the 1-minute gun here as we're ready to roll for the final heat of Saturday's qualifying. 1-minute drivers, 1 minute. Ken the 99 of Travis Yates. The 13 of Grant Schubert, of the 98 of Aiden Benton. Find it here in heat number 2 and get a win. 50 seconds, drivers, 50 seconds. Or will it be the 34 of Jeff Reno? Maybe the 14 of Andrew Tate. Can he get back into winning form here in qualifying heat number 2? 40 seconds, drivers, 40 seconds. Or you also got to watch out for the 22 of Kyle Maskell. He's real fast, the Chilliwack, British Columbia native. Can he get out here in heat number 2? 30 seconds, drivers, 30 seconds. And then you've got those top boats from heat number 1. Jensen, Rinker, Love, Anderson. Let's see who's going to wrap up Saturday's qualifying here in Formula 1 heat number 2 champion. 20 seconds, drivers, you're under starter's orders. Ooh, long flag, he drops it. Oh no, Yates doesn't fire. Benton does though, along with the 34 of Reno and the 13 of Schubert. And then no surprise, Tim, there comes Maskell as we go overhead. Boy, Maskell gets a great jump out of that second gate. Now he's starting to squeeze down. Is Maskell going to come out in front?
No, he leaves him room.
He did leave him room. The 13 of Schubert looks like he might pop out of turn number 4. Yes, he does, with Benton on the inside and Maskell side by side, coming wide out through turn number 4, cross the start-finish line. We're going to go 8 minutes plus 2 laps here in this second qualifying heat to wrap up Saturday's action here at the battle on the Colorado Round 4 of the IHRA Formula 1 Powerboat Series.
Wow, did you see how wide Andrew Tate ended up going after he got past the dog leg?
He had to. I mean, it's either that.
He couldn't keep it on the water.
Right, it's either that or end up on your head.
Yeah.
Made the smart move there as the 13 of Schubert's now running down. But how about this? The 22 of Maskell, then the 29 of Jensen's all the way up into third already. But the 52 of Rinker was at one point in last here in this opening lap. Boy, this kid from Colorado, he's got it figured out here in 2026.
Another guy that's moving through the field is number 24, Spencer Love.
Ooh, it got a little dicey there for the 29 of Jensen. The 22 of Maskell, though, he's sitting out there in second. He's got some clean water. Now he's got the tall task of tracking down a third-generation powerboat driver. And although he's young in age, it's not that he lacks experience when he gets out in front. The 13 of Grant Schubert's been here before. He knows what to do, but Maskell's got his hands full.
I think Spencer needs to, he's going to be okay right now, because I don't think it's hard for Tate to hold his lane coming through the right-hander.
Yeah, the 17 of Anderson and the 52 of Rinker well back, the bottom third of the running order here in qualifying heat number 2, while we see those top 3 boats really start to pull away. And here in these shorter qualifying heats, you get those little groupings that start to bunch up. And then, in the final, things start to stretch out a lot longer with a significantly longer race. And now here comes the 52 of Rinker. Him and Anderson are doing battles. They go down into turn number 4. But they're battling for like 7th or 8th position. Very surprising considering how fast they were in qualifying.
Rinker and Anderson split Aiden Benton going down the back straightaway.
Yeah, that 98 machine looks like it's still down on power a little bit. He's struggling a little bit out there. Same with the 99 of Travis Yates. We see him go through the dog leg there. But boy, it is Grant Schubert all over the place right now. He is out in front. He is pushing hard. Coming off of turn number 4, there's Maskell. Then there's Jensen. The best thing that Grant Schubert could see was when Jensen started to catch up to Maskell. Hey, you two go fight it out. I'm going to ride off into the sunset here, try to get myself some really good points here in qualifying heat number 2. And just in case I need it, short elapsed time by going so fast here in qualifying heat number 2 is the 13 of Schubert. Oh, look out there. Jared Jensen goes over down in turn number 2. Jared Jensen snap rolls it down the north end of the course, battling with the 22 of Kyle Maskell as he goes over down at the west end of the course. He is still inside the cockpit there. We've got our IHRA rescue team immediately getting on site. We got a red flag on the course. There's the driver, Jensen. Oh, no, his helmet came off. I mean, that was a nasty snap roll there for the 29 of Jensen. It looks like he's okay. Divers are in the water. He is out, hanging onto the boat. Now he's probably just taking a look at that boat to see if there's any damage on that Island Lake Marine machine. Boy, that's got to be frustrating. He was strolling, Tim, and putting up a fight with Maskell there and just ended up catching a roller and going over down just outside of turns 1 and 2. Boy, that was a quick one, Tim. Those barrel rolls, they can be real fast and happen in an absolute instant.
Here comes the replay back. So let's see what happened. But he's heading straight into the wind right there. He's trying to go inside. And when he does, it pops up. And it comes down sideways, pops up again, falls in a hole, and he rolls it over.
And he's just like, he was just skating it on that outside sponson, and once he hit that hole from Maskell, it was over.
He got on Maskell's whitewater behind him, and he got on the wake, and he popped up when he went over it, and he fell off the other side.
Yeah, the easiest way I explain this to people who aren't around tunnel boat racing, it's like when you're skiing behind a boat. You're inside the wake, and then you go up, and then you realize, oh, I got to go down again to that outside edge of the wake. That backside of the wave is the hole that we were talking about, and he just fell into it. And if that much, carrying that much speed and momentum into the corner, you can fall into the smallest of hole created by a wake, and it'll send you over like it did the 29 of Jensen. Let's just hope him and that hull are okay. But it's going to be a long night in the pits for Island Lake Marine.
It sure is. And the other thing is, when you're running directly into the wind and you set that boat, it sets harder because you've got to drive it back down on the water because you're heading straight into the wind. So you've got that big tunnel underneath you, and that's holding the boat up. And the only way you can get that boat to set is drive it onto the water. Well, when you do, it bounces off the front, the back end gets light.
And then he ended up on his head here. One of those, these are the types of things that are going to separate people like the 24 of Spencer Love and the 29 of Jared Jensen. But right now, we're going to send it down with our Heat 2 winner from Formula Lights, the 21 of Jose Mendana Jr. is down with Pam in the pits. Let's see what he had to say.
Jose Mendana Jr., you are our heat race number 2 winner here at Marble Falls. And let's talk about your heat that you just went out there and you dominated and won.
Yeah, we were fortunate to start in the first up front there because we didn't have a very good first heat. Made some power changes over 30 minutes. My crew did a heck of a job. We got a good hole shot. Didn't want that restart, but got a good hole shot on the restart. And fortunately was able to pull away and stay out of the lap traffic way. And at least that win gets us back in the game for the rest of the weekend.
All right, so we have another heat race tomorrow, and then going into the finals. I mean, obviously your boat's working good for you. I don't know about the adjustments that you would do to it, but otherwise, day 2 tomorrow.
Yeah, well, we should be okay as long as we don't have any mechanical issues. We're right back in the game. Heat 3 tomorrow will set the stage for how the final is going to shape up for us.
Well, congratulations on that heat race number 2 win. Here we have Jose Mendana Jr. We'll go back to you guys up at the booth.
All right, thanks, Pam. The 21 of Mendana Jr., always in the mix, always in the thick of things. Every single race in Formula Lights. Now we go back, we see them towing in the 29 of Jared Jensen. You got to imagine that driver's frustrated because he knows he's there, but there's these situations that he just hasn't had experience in at that level yet. This seems to be one of those moments trying to track down Maskell and just pushed it a little too hard.
Well, one of the things that you're going to learn when you are trying to win these races in Formula One on the IHRA series is you've got to push yourself and your equipment over the edge. It's not like you've got a comfort zone. You've got to be on the edge or over the edge if you want to win one of these races. And Jared is extremely aggressive in the corners. So he's making his time up right there. So that's what that can happen. You don't want it to, but sometimes you just got to pick and choose where you're going to be that aggressive.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine more than one time in your career you rolled the dice going into a corner. I'm like, this is going to work, and I'm going to come out like a rocket ship and blow their doors off. But there's always that chance that you might up in on your head, and that's that calculated risk that sometimes you just have to take.
Oh, yeah. I wrecked a lot of boats over the years, so.
All right, well, we've got we've got them lined up. Again, we're going to do a rolling 2x2 start here for the conclusion of qualifying heat number 2. And it looks like the 99 of Travis Yates is, I don't know where he's going, but he might be starting the order. It looks like he's chosen to go to the back of the pack, having some struggles. I don't know if he's got a hole in the boat or what's going on or some electrical issues, but he's got that boat moving early, and he's shuffled the back of the dock. But 13 of Grant Schubert. Great run. He's probably the one person who hated seeing that restart because that gap he had made over the 22 of Kyle Maskell, gone.
It's all negated. Once you have a restart, everybody catches back up. So that part sucks, but it's part of racing.
Now Maskell, he's loving this.
Maskell's loving it.
Because the guy that's on him, his boat's getting towed back to the water. So he's got a little breathing room there, not like Andrew Tate is what I would call breathing room on the inside of row number 2 there. But Maskell knows he's fast. He knows he's going to be able to find some clean water in that 2x2 rolling start. The question is who's going to come out first between those two drivers? Can Maskell go wide around the outside? Can he have the intestinal fortitude to stay out there when I know in that 2-stroke Baba he's going to want to dive it into the pit?
Fourth place, you got Spencer Love.
Always there.
Always quick on starts, whether they're rolling starts or modified Le Mans dead engine starts. He is always right in there. And I'll tell you who, this breathes new life into number 8, number 52, especially, and 17.
Especially the 8 of Mayo, because who thrives in the worst possible conditions? It always seems to me the 8 of Jeremiah. You remember a couple years ago at the Red River Rumble, the water was up, the current was extremely fast, the wind picked up, the water got really rough. Who's the only person hanging that thing wide open? Is the 8 of Jeremiah Mayo, and he ran it all the way to victory. He loves, the harder it gets, it seems like he thrives in those moments. Not that he doesn't thrive normally, honestly. This is as far back as we've seen him in qualifying all season long, really. But he loves when the wind picks up because he loves to get that nose up and just fly that boat on top of the water.
He's always there at the end.
Yeah.
Oh, for whatever reason, he's always there at the end.
All right, now I don't see the 99 of Yates. If he pulled in, nope, he's down there at the far end of the course. All right, I don't know what we're waiting on here. We're just waiting, I think, for our rescue crews to get back in line. Again, one of our rescue guys had to tow the 29 of Jensen back to the trailer, get that Island Lake Marine machine on the trailer. And here comes our pole sitter, the 13 of Grant Schubert, following jet ski Jared, our pace jet ski here on the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series, off the start dock, and he's going to roll him down the back stretch. We're going to come out of turns 3 and 4, and I suspect, Tim, now that we've realized a pretty quick green flag coming off of turn 4 here on this rolling start.
I think you'll see a quick flag if everybody's lined up. What the head referee Doug Ray, what he waits for is all the boats lined up how they're supposed to be. They're supposed to be 2x2, and you're supposed to be within the wake of the boat in front of you. So once the head referee sees that, then he's going to show the green flag. So we're gonna. They're starting to get them lined up now. Grant Schubert, although he was leading the race by a good margin, he's still going to be on pole. He's still going to be in lane 1. So it's not over yet by any means, but I think you've got a lot of guys that are going to breathing down your neck.
Yeah, it's he's still in the catbird seat, and now it's just what you have to do with it, right? All right. Well, while we get these guys lined up here for this rolling restart here to round out the day, we're going to send things down to Pam, as I believe she might be with the 29 at Jared Jensen. Pam, take it away.
All right, here with Jared Jensen and his team, they are pulling his boat out of the water right now, and here we are, Jared Jensen. I mean, I have to tell you, I want to hear what you just went through out there and just endured.
We got a good start. Boat was fast, and we were trying to catch Kyle in front of me. He was fast, and I just stuck it in a hole down in turn 1 and flipped it over. So it sucks, but we'll try it out. We'll keep running tomorrow. So.
Well, you're okay. That's all that matters. I mean, running in that number 2 position for heat number 2. But again, you're all good. The boat's leaking a lot of water here, but you got to go do a rundown on it.
Yeah, we'll try to dry it out and see if we can't get back on the water tomorrow. So it's unfortunate. Happens, so we'll see if we can't finish the weekend up. So.
Well, you're okay again. Like I just said, that's all that matters, and racing happens sometimes. But hopefully, we see you out here on the water tomorrow. So, time to go to work.
Yep. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
And there we have it. Jarrett Johnson, his team right now, pulling the boat out of the water. But right now, let's go back to you guys.
All right, thanks, Pam. Yeah, the dejected 29 at Jared Jensen. You know what? But I mean, any driver is probably going to be in that place. It's what you do from here that really will set the tone for the rest of your weekend. Also, can I make an announcement in the pits here? I need all the children in the water to get out of the water immediately. Gentlemen in the blue shirt and the
Everybody
black hat.
on the beach.
Gentlemen in the blue shirt and the black hat on the beach, I need you out of the water immediately. You are in violation of our insurance. We can't get the event completely shut down. I need you to get yourselves out of the water immediately. Thank you. Like I'm not even here, and I'm loud. All right, Tim. We got him ready to go here. Boy, I think we're going to see a Schubert v. Maskell showdown. Who's going to be able to nail the start and manage to win on that opening lap when they have a little bit of clean water?
Well, while we were on that break, it was the wind died down a little bit, but now it came back up. So we're in the same spot we were when they were running the first part of this heat.
And it would be so much different if the wind was, coming north or south, like all the wind has been traveling the last week. Everything's been coming straight north out of the south, and that blocks so much of the wind based on this east-west configuration of the Colorado River and the high banks here in the hill country. Well, we don't have that, so it's just like a giant funnel of wind running right down the river. It's going to make things tricky here in this restart. Let's wrap things up for Saturday's qualifying here in round 4 at the Battle on the Colorado here in beautiful Marble Falls, Texas. As they go 2x2 down the front straightaway, you're going to see that jet ski peel off. Once he does, be ready, because then you're looking for that green flag from Chief Referee Doug Ray. And he drops the green flag. Go, 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 go. As the 13 of Schubert, boy, he looked like he absolutely nailed that start, Tim. What a fantastic run by the 13 of Schubert. But Maskell's right on his hip. And here comes the 24 of Spencer Love. Tim, how is it that the 24 Love seems to always nail the start? I guess we all have our skills, and man, is he amazing at getting on the gas when they drop the flag.
Got a great start. Grant got a great start. Took a couple hops once he came around the dog leg. But, fantastic start for number 13.
Maskell's just glad he hung on because he was porpoising pretty bad on the start there, but finally got the ship righted enough to stay ahead of the 24 Love for now. But I wouldn't want to be looking in my rearview mirror, seeing the 24 Spencer Love come barreling down on me here in this Formula One qualifying heat, that's for sure.
You're starting to see the number 52, Chris Rinker. He's getting up on the tail of Andrew Tate.
And then the Ada Mayo, surprising that the Rinker got around Mayo as easily did. I'm curious to think, I think Jeremiah is just not as comfortable in that 4-stroke and wishes he was in his 2-stroke package in that Ray Bob's machine out here on Saturday's qualifying.
Well, either that or he just got a bad start.
Yeah, it could be that as well.
Rinker and Tate came together, leaving 4 out of there. Did you see that?
No, I missed that here as we go overhead with them. Now they go through the dogleg. Tate staying on the outside. Notice they're giving themselves a healthy amount of room as they go down into turn 1 here. But boy, it's getting rough down there.
You couldn't have got a piece of paper between them earlier.
Well, they kept them both on the water, and that's really all that matters. As the wind now it picks up even more. It's going to keep getting rougher. And boy, the 13 at Grant Schubert just does not seem to be phased. That Hoffman Formula One with that 2.5 liter V6 2-stroke Mercury on the back is cruising right now. And we've got, hey, how about this? People who talk about 4 strokes and they got the bigger horsepower and they got, so much more displacement. Well, we got 2 strokes, 1, 2, and 3 here in this rough and choppy water. That lack of weight on the back, that nimble attitude of the 2-stroke, right, is just, it's showing that that's the package to choose here on the Colorado River, at least today.
Well, they've got the top 4 have got a nice balanced package. And that's when the conditions get bad, that's what you got to have. You got to have a nice balanced package.
It can't be hard to turn. It doesn't need to be the fastest rocket ship on the water. You do want to find somewhere right between those two.
It's got to be drivable.
Right, because the water is sure not making it very drivable.
No, right now the wind's still, quite heavy. And especially you're going right into it as you're coming up.
Oh no, Aiden Benton goes down. Aiden Benton is out here in qualifying heat number 2. He's down there in between 3 and 4. Boy, the motor issues continue for the driver out of Ontario as he is stuck down there between 3 and 4. The rescue team's going to grab him. And boy, the battle, holy cow, what happened to Chris Rinker in qualifying heat 1 that has changed so much here in heat 2? He's already up to 4th position. He has left the rest of those 4 strokes in the dust, and he is all over the 24 of Spencer Love.
You're seeing exactly what we thought was going to happen, though. The top 4 guys are getting to the dogleg, and they're all setting the boat for a second, and then they're picking it back up. They're not trying to...
They want to control that wind under the tunnel after they get through the dogleg.
That's right. They're all setting it for a second and then going back at it. So that is helping them, and the guys with the 4 strokes are having a little bit harder time. They can't fly through the dogleg.
Yeah, and the top end is where the 4-stroke has maybe a bit of an advantage, and the 2-stroke's all about the punch out of the corners. And here, with these type of wind conditions, it's all about in and out of the corners, being stable, and just running a solid race. And that's what the 13 of Grant Schubert's doing right now. You're going to see from overhead, he's going down there to the northeast end of the course, west end of the course, in turn 1. Makes that a 1-pin turn. Then that's the 22 of Maskell. Then there's the 24 of Love, who's in 3rd. I got to say, I'm impressed that the 22 of Maskell has been able to pull away a little bit from Love. I don't know if that's because Love's looking at that giant bright yellow blob ripping behind him and closing the gap, or if Maskell's just finally had enough of a motor working that he's really getting into a groove and finally getting comfortable here in 2026.
Well, they found some wires that were frayed and shorting out on the carbon, and it seems like that on Maskell's boat. So that really seems like it's made a difference.
Boy, there's one thing that you didn't have to worry about for the longest time, carbon affecting the electricals on your boat. But when that moved from Okumi over to the carbon fiber and composites, that's a whole other thing that you've got to deal with here in these Formula One boats. Is any wiring or any electricals touching any carbon at all is going to wreak havoc inside your Formula One.
That's right, but we're winding down. White flag. Grant Schubert, look, all he's got to do is just keep clicking off the laps. One more to bring home a victory for
all right, 13. And we're going to stay with the 13 of Schubert. He goes the west end of the course now out of turns 1 and 2. Boy, it's bouncing all over. I mean, he's as stable as anybody on the course, and he is bouncing all over the place as the wind continues to pick up as we roll through. There's an overhead of the 9 of Johnny Fleming. He's trying to just hang on for dear life out there as those 4 strokes. And that heavy motor package on the back of the Formula One is just wreaking havoc on the driver, making it very difficult to drive. But the man who's had no problem all heat 2 comes out of turn number 4, now walks it across the start-finish line. Ladies and gentlemen, taking the win in qualifying heat number 2, number 13, Mr. Grant Schubert.
Captain Marks, number 13, looked awesome in that second heat. And the wind continues to pick up. And it's just making all these boats harder to drive.
Yeah, but it is absolutely solid run there. In second was the 22 Kyle Maskell in that Accent Granite sponsored entry. And then rounding out the top three, the 24 of Spencer Love running for Firefly Aerospace. And Clover Construction rounds out the top three. Well, solid run there for the 13 Schubert. This has kind of been his thing this year. You know, he seems to struggle in Heat 1, still learning how to find a qualifying prop and a qualifying setup, but comes to Heat 2. And when he's not starting 6th, 7th, 8th, when he's in that top 3 or 4, he seems to do really, really well. Now Grant's just got to figure out, how do I start the first heat in one of those top 4 spots? Because I think if he can start doing that more consistently, that confidence is going to grow, and you're going to see that young driver really move up, maybe like we saw to the 29 of Jared Jensen in 2025.
Well, I think it all comes down to starts for Grant, because in the first heat, he's up with all the fast qualifiers. And he got shut out at the start.
Yeah, he got squeezed.
So on this heat, he got the jump, and, you know, he put the number 13 right out front and kept it there the whole time.
Yeah, he did. Almost a 6-second win there in qualifying heat number 2 over the 22 of Kyle Maskell. Good to see Maskell finally get things figured out. That's what we expect out of that driver out of Chilliwack, British Columbia, running for Accent Granite, and good to see him up there near the top.
Spencer Love staying consistent. Look, he stays within what they do good, and that's accelerate and start.
And he does that. He doesn't take a ton of risks on the race course, but he'll make a move if he needs to. Typically, though, he's always in that position where he doesn't really have to take any risky moves.
Number 52, Chris Rinker, had a great run that second heat.
Yeah, he did. Got himself up into the top 5. And, of course, they're rounding out the field there. The 98 of Aiden Benton goes down about 3 laps in. And the 29 of Jared Jensen put it on his head, barrel rolling down in turn numbers 1 and 2 there, about halfway through that second qualifying heat. Well, boy, Tim, what a fantastic day of racing it has been so far. And here we go. Let's take a look at a full recap of this final heat of the day here in Formula One. Rinker doesn't fire. That's what happened to Rinker. He doesn't fire on the initial start, so he loved that restart. And boy, they go out. Great job by everybody. Leaves the lane. 13 Schubert, like you said, he gets out front early, gets a good start. Boy, peace deuces, as they say. He leaves him in his dust.
Look at the water conditions at the beginning of that heat versus the end, and between the first and second.
And then we go, boom, right there, north end of the course. Jensen just pushing it to its limit. Snap rolls it down there, trying to catch the 22 Kyle Maskell, which would have caused us to have this restart, which was handled perfectly by that man who found himself back out in front again.
Grant just kept clicking off the laps, running his race, and it was absolutely perfect.
Never had to go tight to the pin, never had to slam the door hard inside. Ooh, and these guys, they definitely did not. There was less than a piece of paper because they were all over each other's dates. Yeah, I missed it because of the judges stand. Good pickup there, but Tate and Rinker battling. And there were battles all over the course. Love tried to catch the 22 of Maskell for a while there. He couldn't figure it out. Then Rinker at the end, after getting together with the 14 of Tate, he starts to hunt down the 24 of Spencer Love. Might have been able to get on top of him if this was the main event tomorrow, but just ran out of time here in this 8 minutes plus 2 laps qualifying heat. Here to wrap up Saturday qualifying in Formula One. That man did what was needed. He got out in front, got the checkered flag. There we go, the overhead with him. He's outside the cockpit just trying to breathe a little bit, and warm in there, and celebrate a nice win here in qualifying heat number 2 for the 13 of Grant Schubert.
Well, we've had a great day of racing. The fans came out. Just absolutely perfect.
You couldn't ask for a better day.
We've got several things going on still. We still have all the food trucks that are open, so stop by and make sure that you buy something from them because they're supporting this race. We've got the raffle for the 2-seater ride that's up by the entrance, and we've got Debbie selling the merch.
Yeah, we've got all, and again, I can't express to those of you here in Marble Falls this enough. As somebody who is, this may be surprising, has never raced one, from somebody who's never raced one of these Formula One tunnel halls, but has had an opportunity to run in the race ride experience with guys like this who've got decades of experience with Tim Siebold, there is nothing that you are going to experience like this in your life. So if you're here in Marble Falls, do yourself a favor. Find that QR code, take a picture, click the link, fill it out.
It's only $10.
It's $10, right? $10 for a ride in something that you will never get the opportunity to experience probably ever again in your lifetime. It's an unbelievable run, and I got to say, this guy's pretty good at putting it on edge. What do you say, Tim? You excited?
Well, we're looking forward to tomorrow. These are the qualifying heats today. We have got the third and final qualifying heat, and that's the equalizer. You know, the first two heats are one thing, but the equalizer to me is that third heat, and then you're going to have the finals. So the finals will be longer races, and the water will get rougher, and the boats will start with bigger fuel loads and then run all the way down. So come out. It's going to be a great day tomorrow. The weather's supposed to be good.
Yeah, it's supposed to be fantastic weather all day tomorrow. For those of you here locally in Marble Falls, we're going to have Heat 2 and Heat 3 for the Talent Cup at 10 a.m. Formula Lights qualifying Heat number 3 at 10:30 a.m., followed by the Race Ride Experience at 11:30 with our 2 lucky winners from the raffle today. Then opening ceremonies will have us going live on all our platforms starting at 12 noon with the final qualifying heat for Texas Tri-Hall, then the final qualifying heat for Formula 1 at 12:45, and then we start our finals. 1:15 Formula Lights final, 2 o'clock Talent Cup, 2:15 Tri-Hall, 3 o'clock Formula 1 final, and then at 4 o'clock we're going to be giving away some well-deserved hardware, because if this wind stays up with these retaining walls here in Marble Falls, it's going to be an interesting and fun and dynamic weekend on the water.
And don't forget, fans, we've got the IHRA fan guide that's up at the entrance or over at the merch tent that is free. And we're going to have an autograph signing session tomorrow right before the awards.
Okay, so at the conclusion of the final, before the award ceremony, we're going to have all our drivers. So grab yourself an IHRA guide, get a T-shirt, bring a Sharpie, maybe get a hat, bring a Sharpie, right? These guys would love to autograph whatever the kids have out there for you. Beautiful day of racing. Safe day of racing. Did have a couple of incidents, but the IHRA safety team, Johnny on the spot, the drivers followed their procedures that we trained them on. They got out. Everybody was safe. There's going to be a few long nights. Schmierbach, Wallach, Jensen. It's going to be a very long night for those 3 drivers, but for everybody else, boy, quite an enjoyable early June Saturday evening here in beautiful Marble Falls.
No, it's good.
Oh, all right. Well, now we're going to send things down to Pam as she's with our winner from qualifying heat number 2, the number 13 of Grant Schubert. Pam, what's Grant have to say?
Here with Grant Schubert. Now, Grant Schubert out here for heat number 2 today. You are the winner. So tell me how your run just went for you.
Oh man, we were having some engine problems this morning. We still haven't quite fixed them all. So we got a good start. Came out first turn first, got a good lead, and then we had a restart, which kind of just took all that away from us. Got a good start on the restart. Came out in first, and then the motor started dying a little bit, and luckily I was able to just push through and finish the race ahead.
I mean, they always say smooth is fast and, you know, all of that good stuff. So same thing in the boat world, and here we are in the number 1 spot.
Oh yeah, the goal is to put it on the trailer right side up.
Well, I mean, you're coming off of a great weekend from Shreveport a couple weeks ago, so this weekend, I mean, I'm sure that's a goal in your mind.
Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't hurt to get a podium, you know. It's always the goal here.
I mean, you're not racing to lose, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're always out here to win, and we got good competition with the guys, so it's really hard to do that. So just getting on the podium is good for me.
All right, well, what a way to end day number 1 here on Saturday here in Marble Falls, Texas. So good luck tomorrow. Hopefully we see you up on top of that box.
Thank you.
And there we have it, Grant Schubert, our our heat number 2 winner for today.
All right, thanks, Pam. Well, he's excited, but it sounds like he's still got a little bit of work to do. But boy, the Outlaw F1 team, though, they're always wrenching on something in that big pits. They're always working on something, always trying to find that next level.
Oh, yeah, the Outlaw team, you know, they're sticklers on maintenance. They just go through all the boats, and they've got so many team members within their team. So it takes a lot. Michael Schubert's got his hands full doing all that.
He does. I mean, that man might walk on water with the amazing things that he pulls off, keeping that 9-boat team together. But what a fantastic day of racing it was here, Tim. Marble Falls didn't disappoint. One of the most unique and beautiful parks I have seen in a very long time. Very arena style, kind of sloping here in the hill country of eastern Texas for round number 4. And Saturday didn't disappoint. We had battles all over the course in all 4 classes, and I'm excited to see how things are going to turn out tomorrow.
Oh, me too. You know, this is This is building, the excitement's building. We're going to have another shuffle on the starting orders tomorrow, which is going to throw a curveball to everybody again. And then that final heat, heat 1, heat 2, heat 3, the combined points, that's how you start the final. So everything is so important. You can't put your boat in the water without it being important.
No, you can't. Well, it's been a fantastic Saturday. And for everybody here at the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series, alongside Tim Siebold, I'm Thomas Yarbrough. We'll be right back here tomorrow, 12 noon Central U.S. time, for the conclusion of round 4 here on the IHRA Formula One Powerboat Series. Thank you. God bless. Good night. And we'll see you tomorrow to wrap up round 4.